The Renegade Immortal audiobook series is wrapping up soon. Feel free to donate and drop your requests for the next series. Thanks so much for listening and supporting the channel. Previously in chapters 2041 to 2060, at the ancient Dao Imperial City, Wang suppresses his desire to kill the ancient Dao Emperor out of respect for his teacher Xian. Leaving with deep sorrow and burning rage, he travels to the ancient Shi nation. There he accepts Prince Jidu as his adopted son and demonstrates his overwhelming power by defeating Grand Emperor Xianxia, forcing both Xianxia and the current emperor to agree to pass the throne to Jidu in 100 years. Desperate to obtain a second drop of soul blood to help Li Muan's physical body enter the immemorial god realm, Wang enters the ancient Shi ancestral temple to undergo the grueling and ancient Dao 3 soul splits and enduring the excruciating pain of having his soul shattered over nearly a century, he successfully completes all 3 splits. During the final split, he experiences a mysterious vision. A figure howling in despair amidst 7-colored snow, bearing an eerie resemblance to himself and his Dao. Upon awakening and completing the trial, Wang and Appo's, the bright red soul blood suddenly changed colors, becoming purple. When it arrived above the ancient ancestor statue, it turned purple. Purple blood, ancient ancestor's soul blood. The soul aura inside became even stronger and caused the entire sky to be dyed purple. The entire ancient Shi imperial city, including the new emperor, Jidu, all looked at the purple soul blood above the ancient ancestor statue. At this moment, the purple light formed a halo and rapidly descended from the head of the ancient ancestor statue. In a flash, this purple halo disappeared into the depths of the ancestral temple. Wang was sitting deep inside the ancestral temple and countless specks of purple light had surrounded him. The light condensed into his body and quickly fused with the first drop of soul blood inside him. After the ancient Dao 3 soul splits came the blessing of the ancient ancestor. This soul blood was the blessing. Everyone who had laid eyes the purple blood descend was in shock. They could not believe what they had seen. This was soul blood, the soul blood of the ancient ancestor. Rumor has it that 3 drops of soul blood can create a new clan. He actually obtained a drop of soul blood during the blessing of the ancient ancestor. Could it be that if one can perfectly go through the ancient Dao 3 soul splits, one can obtain soul blood? Uproars echoed across the world. Jidu looked at the ancient ancestor statue and gasped. Even he hadn't expected his godfather to obtain the ancient ancestor's soul blood. When the purple blood disappeared, the sky returned to normal and it seemed like everything was going to end. After all, the blessing of the ancient ancestor had arrived and the 3 trials and 7 calamities had come to an end. However, just as everyone was thinking about this, another change happened in the sky. An even bigger uproar echoed from all corners of the imperial city. It's not over. Look at the sky changing. The blessing of the ancient ancestor is not over. Purple, it's purple again. Impossible. Could there be more soul blood descending? The uproar was heaven-shaking. The purple light was about to disappear when it suddenly shined brightly again. At the end of the sky there was a purple vortex that was rotating rapidly, and its center was like a black hole. The black hole was where the purple light was the most dense. A drop of purple blood slowly descended, and when everyone saw it, a monstrous shockwave was set across the imperial city. Soul blood again. 2 drops. He has obtained 2 drops of soul blood. The soul blood slowly fell and finally entered the head of the ancient ancestor statue. The purple light descended and disappeared into the ancestral temple. The uproar continued. Inside the ancestral temple, more and more purple light appeared around Wang. It quickly condensed toward his body and disappeared into him. In the end, when all the purple light had entered Wang's body, there was a total of 3 drops of soul blood inside him. He suddenly opened his eyes. When he opened his eyes, the ancient ancestor statue released a powerful purple light. As the purple light shined, Wang's origin soul, which was covering the statue, rapidly shrank until it disappeared without a trace back into the ancestral temple. The sky slowly recovered to normal and no trace of purple remained. The ancient ancestor statue remained calm and still looked at the sky with disdain and contempt. When everything returned back to normal, the people of the ancient Shi recovered from their shock. Although a huge wave had been set off in their hearts, they forced themselves to calm down on the surface. Their gazes toward the ancestral temple all contained different intentions. There contained envy, admiration, complication, melancholy. Inside the ancestral temple, his origin soul floated before him and overlapped with his body. His withered body was injected with endless vitality and rapidly recovered. After several breaths, his body recovered from his skeleton-like state to the way it was when he first entered the ancestral temple, but his power was vastly different from before. Wang Lin closed his eyes and felt the changes to his origin soul. His origin soul was extremely powerful now. When his divine sense spread out, not only could he cover the entire ancient clan, even the vast sea was covered. He could sense the law in the world, feel the movements of all things, and even see the flow of time. His origin soul wasn't the only thing that had become powerful. His body had always been strong, but now he felt the power moving through his body. He felt like he could destroy the sky with one punch. I wonder how I compare to Grand Emperor Gu Dao now, Wang Lin murmured as he walked outside the ancestral temple. This was the first time he had gone outside the ancestral temple in 100 years. When he stepped out of the temple, he saw the bright sun and the clear sky, but he didn't see his teacher, Xian Luo. When the second drop of soul blood had descended, Xian Luo had decided to leave. He didn't meet with Wang Lin and silently went toward the ancient Tao. He had come in order to protect Wang Lin, and now it was over. He didn't know what he would say to Wang Lin if they met, so he could only leave. Looking at the sky and at the direction where Xian Luo had gone, Wang Lin silently pondered. There was no complicated feeling in his eyes, only a gentle gaze. Before I leave, I need to go see teacher, Wang Lin muttered to himself. Heaven trampling bridges, I wonder if I can step onto the fourth bridge. But no matter what happens, my time at the ancient clan is over. There are still 300 years until the immemorial God realm opens. I don't want to spend this time on the immortal astral continent. I want to go home. I'll take one air home. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the sky and walked toward the palace. He had promised Ji Du he would go witness him becoming the emperor. Inside the palace, there were no fluctuations at all, but Wang Lin's figure strangely appeared under the gazes of countless people. Wang Lin looked at Ji Du with a smile. Wang Lin slowly said, "You will be an excellent emperor." Ji Du stared at Wang Lin. He could feel that his godfather had the intention to leave. Be a good emperor. Lead your people to greatness. Wang Lin's right hand reached at the void and the crown on the imperial throne flew into his hands. He waved his hand and then the crown flew toward Zhou Du. It landed on Ji Du's head. And now he was the true emperor. With a smile, Wang Lin turned and took a step toward the void. He disappeared from the ancient Sure imperial city, disappeared from the gazes of everyone here, and disappeared from Ji Du's eyes. Godfather! Ji Du let out a shout toward the direction Wang Lin had gone. He felt sadness toward the parting. He could not forget that everything he had obtained was only possible because of Wang Lin. Wang Lin left. He left the ancient Sure and looked toward the celestial clan, at the direction of the Seven Dao sect. After pondering for a moment, he walked toward the ancient Dao imperial city he had left 200 years ago. In the ancient Dao imperial city, no one besides Xian Luo had noticed his arrival. In the back mountain of the ancient Dao temple, Wang Lin saw Xian Luo in the house he had stayed in. The disciple and teacher silently pondered for a long time before Xian Luo smiled. "You've returned." Disciple greets teacher. Wang Lin found the warmth from 200 years ago in this house. He had forgotten that he was someone as strong as Gu Dao. In his eyes, Xian Luo was his teacher and he was the disciple. Wang Lin stayed in the ancient Dao temple's back mountain for 3 years. These 3 years were a spiritual experience as he gained control of his surge in strength. He accompanied Xian Luo because Xian Luo had given up on his reincarnation. After 3 years, Xian Luo watched Wang Lin leave. Xian Luo looked at his disciple. He knew that once Wang Lin left, the next time they meet might be 300 years from now. Wang Lin's figure disappeared from the world and appeared in a basin near the vast sea before going deep into a mountain. Now that his cultivation was at its peak, he decided to go to the heaven-trampling bridges again. With his current cultivation level, he could attempt to break the bottleneck at any time. He could go the illusory world to experience trampling the heavens. A few days later, an invisible ripple spread out from the mountain, forming a pressure even Grand Empyreans would find difficult to withstand. Wang Lin appeared before the familiar heaven-trampling bridges. The sky was still hazy and the earth was covered in fog, so he couldn't see far. Before him were 6 bridges, one larger than the one before. After the last bridge, there was a vague scene that Wang Lin seemed to be immersed in. Behind him were 3 bridges. He was currently standing before the 4th bridge, where he had stopped 100 years ago. After a long time, he withdrew his gaze from the illusory scene behind the 9th bridge. He looked at the 4th bridge before he raised his foot and took a step forward. Aside from Wang Lin himself, no one else knew how many bridges he had walked past. Not even Grand Empyrean Gu Dao was able to clearly sense it. He only knew that after Wang Lin entered the heaven-trampling bridges, Wang Lin had walked onto the 5th bridge. As for whether Wang Lin had passed the 6th bridge or not, he didn't know because his limit was the 5th bridge. The ripples around the mountain lasted for months, and when the ripples dissipated, Wang Lin calmly walked out. He didn't look too much different from a few months ago, but if one looked closely, one would find that Wang Lin looked like a mortal. There seemed to be no signs of his cultivation moving inside his body. He was wearing a long white shirt and was standing outside the basin of the vast sea. He looked back at the ancient clan and a moment later he turned around. He turned into a ray of light and charged toward the celestial clan on the other side of the vast basin. Madman, I swore back then that I would come back to the ancestral city to save you. If you are willing to leave, no one on the immortal astral continent can stop me. If you choose to become the celestial emperor, then you will be the real celestial emperor that is no longer in slumber. Also Situ, Qingshui 13, Big Head, Red Butterfly. You are all on the immortal astral continent, and since none of you are in the ancient clan, then you all must be in the celestial clan. This time, I'll definitely find you all. And there is also Li Qianmei. Wang Lin revealed a complicated expression. With a sigh, he moved much faster than before and flew at 100 times the speed he had used to cross this distance the last time. In the end, I'm going back to the 7 Dao sect, back to the cave world, back to planet Suzaku. That is my home. Along the way, Wang Lin didn't stop at all. It only took him a few days to arrive at the edge of the vast sea where the entire sea had formed an endless wall of sea storm. The storm could be heard from very far away, and once closed in, they would see the countless spatial rifts that had formed due to the storm rotating for 200 years. There was even an invisible pressure spreading out from this wall. The smell of the sea was very dense and the thunderous rumbles were heaven-shaking. Wang Lin stood there, looking at the wall of sea and the door formed by the 9 pillars as his eyes shined. He knew that this door would open in 300 years. When that door opened, he would come back with Li Muan and enter, and he would use the power of reincarnation to revive Li Muan and allow her to escape reincarnation. Perhaps I can find the truth there, Wang Lin muttered as he was about to go through the wall of sea. However, just as he raised his foot, he suddenly looked up. The sky was completely dark. This was due to the constantly rotating sea. The thunderous rumbles continued as if there was no other sound. Everything was calm, as if there was nothing wrong, but Wang Lin looked at the sky and gave up on the thought of leaving. He stood there as if he was waiting for something. After 10 breaths, a crackling sound came from the sky. This sound was very sharp and actually overpowered the roar of the sea. The entire world seemed to tremble. A large rift was suddenly torn open in the sky. A large amount of fog leaked out of it and spread out in all directions. At the same time, a blurry figure walked out from the fog. Wang Lin's expression was still calm. He watched the fog cover the dark sky until the world became fog, and when the figure walked out from within, he said, "Gu Dao." The figure inside the fog gradually walked forward but still remained covered in fog and said in a hoarse voice, "Wang Lin." This scene had a very important meaning behind it for the immortal astral continent. This was the first meeting between the 2 most powerful people on the immortal astral continent. These 2 were the only 2 people on the immortal astral continent who were half a step into heaven trampling, and this was the first time their gazes met. As for back when they met on Mount Gu Dao, due to the difference in cultivation levels, it could not be compared to right now. The figure inside the fog silently pondered a bit and said, "You already knew I was coming?" Wang Lin calmly stood there, his clothes dancing in the wind. A few strands of his hair fluttered as he nodded at the figure inside the fog. Inside the fog, Gu Dao silently pondered once more for a long time before he let out a sigh and said, "How many bridges did you cross the second time you went to the heaven-trampling bridges? That's not important. What's important is your purpose for coming." Wang Lin smiled and his expression was very calm. Inside the fog, Gu Dao said in a hoarse voice, "You can kill Yi Dao, the ancient ancestor's descendant, you can arbitrarily appoint someone as the new emperor, and you can even do anything you like in the ancient clan. But you can't leave the ancient clan." "I can't leave the ancient clan?" Wang Lin's eyes lit up. "Unless I can't stop you, you can't leave." An ancient voice came from the fog. "I won't stop you for too long, 300 years. You need to stay in the ancient clan for 300 years. Once the immemorial God realm opens, you can leave as you will." Wang Lin pondered a bit and slowly said, "Give me an explanation." Gu Dao's voice became gloomy. "There is no explanation. I won't let you go. You must stay or beat me." Wang Lin frowned as he looked at the figure inside the fog. "On Mount Gu Dao, I borrowed your pressure to fuse my celestial and ancient powers. This is one. In the ancient Dao Imperial City, I killed Yi Dao. With my cultivation level back then, if you had acted, I would have had no confidence in winning. However, you remained silent. This is number 2. In the ancient Shi Jidu became the emperor and you didn't stop it. This is number 3. In my life, I always repay people's kindness to me. And because you helped me 3 times, I can stay for 100 years with no explanation. However, as for the remaining 200 years, I'll leave." Wang Lin spoke slowly. The figure inside the fog silently pondered for a long time before his voice came from the fog. 100 years is not enough. You must stay until the immemorial God realm opens. Wang Lin, I don't want to fight you. This old man hasn't fought someone in a very long time. I just want you to stay for 300 years, after which you can leave. I can even give you a reward for it." Gu Dao's hoarse voice echoed from the fog. Wang Lin also didn't want to fight against Gu Dao, as their relationship was very complex. Wang Lin had no reason to fight unless Gu Dao was set on making him stay without any room to negotiate. Wang Lin suddenly asked, "I have a question. With your cultivation level, you can easily sweep across the entire immortal astral continent. Why do you still allow the celestial clan to exist?" Inside the fog, Gu Dao silently pondered for a long time. This was a question many people in the ancient clan had, and it was the same question the people of the celestial clan had. For countless years, no one knew the answer, and no one had dared to ask Gu Dao. After a long time, Gu Dao's complicated voice came from the fog. "The blessing I got from the ancient ancestor is not the same as yours." As Wang Lin looked at Gu Dao inside the fog, he pondered and seemed to realize something. "Enough. Wang Lin, either you beat me or you stay. There is no third choice." The fog around Gu Dao began to churn and the thunderous rumbles fused with the sound of the sea. This sound seemed to fuse with his voice and formed a powerful pressure. "If you want to fight, then let's fight." Wang Lin looked up and his eyes shined brightly. Since it couldn't be avoided, then he also wanted to see which of them was the strongest. This would be a battle for the number 1 strongest person on the immortal astral continent since the celestial ancestor and the ancient ancestor. This was a battle between the 2 people at the top. Gu Dao, the strongest person on the immortal astral continent. He had stepped onto the heaven-trampling bridges countless years ago. Although he was stuck on the 6th bridge, his combat power was extraordinary, and he was the only one who had killed Grand Empyreans. Wang Lin was a fusion of celestial and ancient. His cultivation was not complete, but with just 2 complete true bodies, he was already half a step into heaven trampling. He didn't know what cultivation level he would reach once his ethereal essences were complete. He still had that avatar in the void. It had been hundreds of years since he obtained it, and it had begun to grow. Once Wang Lin fused with it, he could erupt with terrifying power. As the fog churned around Gu Dao and thunderous rumbles echoed, Grand Empyrean Gu Dao stepped forward. The fog around him roared and spread until it formed a giant fog beast. Its roar shook the heavens. This fog beast looked strange and had 9 heads. It looked very similar to the Jiqiong beast that he saw back in the land of the ancient god. Its 9 heads roared and revealed ferocious expressions, but at the same time, it gave off an ancient aura. It was as if this fog beast had a spirit and had existed for countless years. Inside the fog beast, Grand Empyrean Gu Dao pointed forward. This finger was covered in fog, but one can faintly see a cold glint from it. With this, the entire world suddenly changed before Wang Lin. The sky was covered in countless fine lines, and the earth was the same. The entire world was surrounded by law. These fine lines of law seemed to be controlled and began to rush toward Wang Lin. Even lightning and spells made of the 5 elements suddenly appeared and all bombarded Wang Lin. As they closed in, these countless spells condensed into a giant finger formed by countless spells and lines of law. This illusory finger contained destructive power as it pointed toward Wang Lin's forehead. Grand Empyrean Gu Dao, the stronger person on the immortal astral continent. His cultivation was mysterious and he hadn't made a move in countless years. With just one finger, the world changed colors and the sky showed signs of collapsing. Even the sea wall was pushed in, as if it could not bear the force. Wang Lin's head of white hair moved. Gu Dao's illusory finger contained the power of wind, rain and thunder. The thunder roared as lightning arched through the finger. Clouds collided, creating thunderous rumbles and forming countless drops of rain. The finger was filled with chaos. Within the wind, thunder and rain, the power of the 5 elements appeared. Metal, wood, water, fire and earth, no weaker than Wang Lin's 5 element essences. As a result, this finger seemed to steal the fortune of the heavens and was powerful enough to kill a Grand Empyrean. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. He was already prepared for Gu Dao's power. This casual finger was enough to kill a Grand Empyrean, but he was not surprised. Gu Dao. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he still had his hands behind his back. His hair fluttered and he gave off an unspeakable temperament. He didn't move, and as the finger descended, he raised his right hand and suddenly pointed at the illusory finger. His movement also seemed very casual. Looking from a distance, there was something wrong about this scene. Gu Dao's illusory finger was very large and looked like it could shatter Wang Lin's entire body. And Wang Lin's finger simply seemed too small in comparison. However, just as Wang Lin pointed out, the countless lines of law trembled. Outsiders couldn't see this, but Gu Dao could clearly feel it. The countless lines trembled and shattered. All of them collapsed, and at this moment there was no law in the world. This caused the surrounding area to become a space with no laws. When the finger collided with Gu Dao's illusory finger, a thunderous rumble echoed across the world. It was loud enough to overwhelm the sound of the sea and spread in all directions. Wang Lin let out a muffled groan and retreated 3 steps and looked up. Gu Dao's illusory finger paused for a moment. A strand of black gas flowed through it. The finger shattered and all the spells inside collapsed. After the illusory finger shattered, the 9-headed fog beast retreated 3 steps. Their probing attack ended in a tie. As Gu Dao retreated, Wang Lin looked up and took several steps forward. He raised his right hand and his origin soul began to activate. A large amount of green smoke appeared around his right hand and quickly turned into green smoke rings around his 5 fingers. An extreme heat suddenly spread out from Wang Lin's right hand. 8 Extreme Dao. Inside the 9-headed fog beast, Gu Dao's gaze narrowed. Extreme Water Dao. Extreme Metal Dao. Extreme Wood Dao. Extreme Earth Dao. The powers of metal, wood, water, fire, earth appeared around Wang Lin's right hand and turned into the celestial ancestors' 8 Extreme Dao. Although Wang Lin hadn't learned all of the 8 Extreme Dao, being half a step into the heaven trampling stage made his cultivation level not far from the celestial ancestors. As a result, when he used the 8 Extreme Dao, he could reach a level similar to the celestial ancestors. Countless rings of smoke appeared before Wang Lin. As he waved his right hand, the large amount of rings flew toward the 9-headed fog beast. With only 5 Extreme Daos, it could not be considered a heaven-shattering spell. When Lin went to the heaven-defying bridges the second time, although it looked like he had walked past the 5th bridge really fast, it felt like countless years to him, and he had comprehended his own version of the last 3 Extreme Daos. Extreme Land Dao. As Wang Lin walked toward the fog beast, he was calm like a grandmaster of the generation. His right hand threw a punch at the land below and the basin under the sea suddenly trembled. Then an land aura rushed out. It was dirty and filled with a large amount of death aura. This was formed by all the creatures that had died in this vast sea. This land aura filled the world and formed a giant gray halo. There was only one halo, and as it rushed forward, It shrank while giving off a shocking amount of power. Inside the fog beast, Gu Dao's pupils shrank. It was clear that Wang Lin's current strength and display of spells had made even him serious. How many heaven-trampling bridges did he pass? Gu Dao's eyes lit up, and without hesitation, his hands formed a seal. The nine-headed fog beast suddenly let out a roar at the sky. Countless ripples spread out and 9 different lights came from the 9 heads. Extreme Sky Dao, Wang Lin calmly said as he walked forward, his right hand pointing at the sky. The dark sky looked like it was going to collapse, but then a bright light flashed. Wang Lin's point turned into a palm. Then he reached toward the sky and seemed to grab all the light in the sky. The dark sky dimmed and all the light condensed into a sun-like halo. Then it rapidly descended upon the 9-headed fog beast. The 8 extreme Daos that belonged to Wang Lin were complete, except for the very last extreme Dao. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, along with sky and land, rapidly closed in on the fog beast. The 9-headed fog beast roared and a 9-colored light flashed, forming a 9-colored rainbow around it. The 9-colored rainbow scattered and resisted Wang Lin's 8 extreme Dao spell. Shortly after, inside the fog, Gu Dao's arms opened and hundreds of balls of fog flew out from the 9 heads of the beast. Each ball contained enough power to kill an ascendant Empyrean. Even Grand Empyreans would be alarmed when facing so many of them. When the hundreds of balls of fog appeared, they suddenly divided into hundreds of thousands. They floated beside the 9-headed fog beast and resisted Wang Lin's 8 extreme Dao with the 9-colored rainbow. The resulting thunderous rumbles were heaven-shattering. The 5-element extreme Daos shattered one by one, but the extreme sky and land Daos penetrated through and landed on the body of the fog beast. The fog beast let out a fierce roar, and as its giant body trembled, Wang Lin appeared next to it. After he used the 8 extreme Dao, he didn't hesitate to activate his rapid spell art. His speed instantly reached a peak and he disappeared with one step. At this moment he reappeared without a sound and threw a punch with his right hand. The world rumbled as a giant fist smashed down on the fog beast's body. Wang Lin didn't look at the result before he disappeared once more. This time he reappeared inside the fog behind Gu Dao and threw a punch. The moment his punch landed, Gu Dao suddenly turned and waved his sleeve. With a bang, Wang Lin was knocked out of the fog beast, but Gu Dao also let out a groan as his sleeve turned to dust. Wang Lin's punch could not be offset easily. When he saw Gu Dao attack, he already had a plan, and there was a purpose to this punch. This punch seemed to combine forces with the punch thrown at the fog beast from the outside. The forces of the 2 punches collided at the center of the fog and created a terrifying storm that tore the fog beast's body apart. However, Gu Dao was still the strongest on the immortal astral continent. Just after he waved, the countless balls of fog around the fog beast all rushed toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin was unable to dodge, so all the balls of fog smashed into his body. One ball of fog could kill an ascendant Empyrean, and hundreds of thousands of them was enough to destroy the world. As they closed in, Wang Lin closed his eyes and pointed to between his eyebrows. Extreme Life Dao. Wang Lin's eyes suddenly opened and revealed 2 strange rays of light. This light spread out around him like a dark aura and formed a protective barrier. Thunderous rumbles echoed like millions of bolts of thunder exploding at once. This shockwave caused the entire vast basin to tremble, and even affected the laws of the world. The entire immortal astral continent felt this collision. In the Daoyi sect, Mount Emperor, Purple Yang sect, and the glacier in the northern continent, the 4 Grand Empyreans there all felt this change in the world, and their hearts trembled. They all felt the collision of the 2 auras from the vast basin. Gu Dao has made a move. One of them belongs to Gu Dao. The other one is very familiar. Who is battling Gu Dao to cause such a shocking scene? The aura battling Gu Dao is Wang Lin. 4 rays of light flew out from the celestial clan toward the vast basin. At the same time, in the ancient clan, Xian Luo Song Tian, and the mysterious ancient Ji Grand Empyrean all felt the change in the world and the earth trembling. The 3 of them didn't hesitate to rush toward the vast basin. All the Grand Empyreans on the immortal astral continent were startled. 7 rays of light rushed toward the vast basin from different directions. The 3 rays of light from the ancient clan were extremely fast. On the celestial clan side, the 4 of them remained silent as they rushed forward. However, even with their speed, they would need half a month of time to arrive at the battlefield. After all, the immortal astral continent was simply too large, and they didn't have Wang Lin or Gu Dao's cultivation levels. At the center of the vast basin, where the sea storm was raging, a thunderous rumble echoed across the side facing the ancient clan. The countless balls of fog around Wang Lin exploded, and after they disappeared, blood flowed out from the corner of Wang Lin's mouth. He was knocked back thousands of feet and the light around him collapsed. The fog around Gu Dao completely shattered and let out a miserable scream. It rapidly disappeared along with the fog beast. Once all the fog disappeared, his mysterious face would be revealed. Thousands of feet from Wang Lin, Gu Dao slowly said, "In order to see my appearance, you didn't hesitate to sustain injuries." The fog around him became very thin and only a few strands remained, barely blocking his face. "Since you want to see, then you can take a look. You are the first person to see my appearance in countless years." Gu Dao's body was thin and he was wearing a green robe, but the sleeve on his right hand was missing. His hair was gray, and he was looking at Wang Lin when the fog around his face completely disappeared. Wang Lin also looked at him from thousands of feet away. When the fog around his face scattered, Wang Lin finally got to see what Grand Emperor Gu Dao looked like. He was not surprised and let out a long sigh. "It indeed is you." Gu Dao remained silent. Wang Lin looked at the familiar face before him and slowly said, "Should I call you Ancient Ancestor or Gu Dao?" Gu Dao looked exactly like Ancient Ancestor's statue in the 3 capital cities. Or, to be more accurate, your appearance belongs to you. The statues in the capital cities were made according to your appearance. Wang Lin looked at Gu Dao, who gave off an ancient aura. Gu Dao revealed a melancholy expression and slowly said, "I'm Gu Dao, and also the Ancient Ancestor. I obtained part of the Ancient Ancestor's memory and will, to guard the ancient clan and the descendants of the imperial families. My appearance slowly changed after absorbing the memory and will." Gu Dao's voice was low. "The maximum distance you can leave should be this place. Rumors say that you killed a Grand Emperor in the Celestial clan, but that should be misinformation. It should be that they invaded past the center of the vast sea, so you killed them." Wang Lin's mind was suddenly filled with clarity. He had just obtained answers to a lot of questions he had. He was confused because with Gu Dao's cultivation level, he could easily destroy the entire Celestial clan so that no Celestials remained, but after countless years, the Celestial clan still remained. You obtained the Ancient Ancestor's memory and will. You should have also obtained some restrictions along with the inheritance. Wang Lin looked at Gu Dao and let out a sigh. "When I changed completely, I felt the restriction. I can't go too far from the ancient clan, and once I do leave, all my power will disappear." Gu Dao was very calm, showing no helplessness or bitterness. "Why do you want to stop me from leaving?" Wang Lin asked this question once more. Gu Dao shook his head, and instead of answering Wang Lin's question, he murmured to himself, "After I obtained the ancient ancestor's memory, I slowly felt something throughout the countless years. A few things. I can't understand, I can't believe, but they are very real." Gu Dao let out a sigh as he looked at the earth and toward the ancient clan. "Perhaps it's real, perhaps it's just an illusion." His eyes were filled with decisiveness. "Let's battle. If you win against me, I'll have no power to stop you and you can leave. I can feel that you haven't used your full power, and now I won't hold back anymore either. I have the 2 strongest spells. One is the ancient world. In the memory of the ancient ancestor, he was born from the void. He always believed that his eyes could become the sun and moon, that his blood could become the rivers and seas, that his bones could become the mountain ranges, that his hands put together could become the sky, and his body could become the earth. With his faith and thoughts, he used his life force to create this spell, Ancient World. I have never used this spell since obtaining the inheritance. Today will be the first time," Gu Dao slowly said as he looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin silently pondered for a moment and his gaze met Gu Dao's gaze. "In the ancient Sure ancestral temple, I saw a figure, and that figure took a step to trample the heavens. That step shocked me greatly. On the 5th bridge, I was immersed in a reincarnation-like world. I don't know how much time passed, but aside from comprehending the 8 extreme Dao, the thing I comprehended the most was that step. Originally, I couldn't walk past the 5th bridge, but with that step, I was able to cross it. This step, I'll call it the step to trample the heavens." As he muttered this, his eyes were filled with decisiveness. Since this battle couldn't be avoided, he would battle until the end. After hearing Wang Lin say that he had passed the 5th bridge, Gu Dao pondered for a moment. He then raised his right hand and waved. If you can resist this spell, then you are qualified to witness the spell that I have spent countless years studying. One Dao Heaven. With this wave, countless specks of light gathered behind him, and just a moment later, a light shadow appeared behind him. This light shadow was shrouded in light and one couldn't see its appearance. However, after it appeared, it opened its mouth and inhaled. A large amount of power of the world was rapidly pulled in. This inhale instantly covered millions of kilometers, and even the entire vast basin was covered. Endless power of the world was absorbed and the light shadow expanded. The inhale power expanded toward the Celestial Clan and the Ancient Clan. In the area near the vast sea on the Celestial Clan side, the 4 Celestial Grand Empyreans all stopped. They looked into the distance and felt like they were going to lose their wits. Similarly, the same thing happened on the Ancient Clan with Xianxia and company. They felt the powerful sucking force pulling the power of the world toward the vast basin. At the center of the vast sea, the light shadow rapidly expanded as it absorbed the power of the world. It was more than 100,000 feet tall and was still growing. In just a few moments, Wang Lin could no longer see the upper body of the light shadow. He could only see its legs. Wang Lin gasped. He didn't know how tall the light shadow would become, but he could imagine that if one looked from outside the immortal astral continent, one would see a giant standing there. It pierced through the heavens. Ancient ancestor. Wang Lin watched the light shadow continue to expand. He didn't know how large it would become. Perhaps if given enough power, it would become like a star system. It would continue to expand until all the power of the world on the immortal astral continent was absorbed. However, just its current size was enough to give Wang Lin indescribable pressure. Ancient world. Wang Lin looked at the sky and his divine sense spread out. He felt a strange scene. This large light shadow's eyes changed. One eye became the bright sun and one became the moon. The blood that flowed out of it gradually became the rivers and the seas. Its hands rose up and turned in the blue sky. Its body fell and became the earth. Then its bones became mountain ranges. As Wang Lin watched all of this, he suddenly felt intense pain from his eyes. It was as if a great power wanted to extract his eyes to make one the sun and the other the moon. His hands also trembled and seemed to rise into the air to become the sky. His body was also pulled by a strange force to become the earth. This was a faith spell. An extremely powerful spell where when one's faith reached a level that could change the world, time, and space of everything it enveloped. Under this faith, Wang Lin took a deep breath and gradually closed his eyes. He no longer considered how to break this spell, but closed his eyes. The figure on top of the mountain where the 7-colored snow fell that was holding the body appeared in his mind. The figure roared at the sky and took that step toward the sky. This step continued to appear in his mind countless times. Wang Lin's right foot slowly rose and he took a step toward the world created by the ancient ancestors' faith. With this step, Wang Lin had the illusion that he was the figure holding the body and roaring at the sky. An indescribable sense of sadness appeared in his heart. It was as if his heart was being carved out. He seemed to have forgotten that he was battling against Gu Dao, and that he was going to return to the cave world. The only thing that existed in his mind was endless sorrow, despair, and anger. This anger made Wang Lin's foot suddenly land. One step to trample the heavens. With this step, Wang Lin's anger surged out through his right foot and smashed onto the world. At this moment, he reached an unimaginable realm as he trampled down on the heavens. The entire world seemed to be below his feet, all life seemed to be below his feet. Whether it was laws or rules, everything was destroyed by this step. Large amounts of cracks appeared in the sky with that step and countless fragments scattered, causing the sky to disappear. The sky collapsed. When Wang Lin's right foot landed and he raised his head, the earth shattered. The sun and moon disappeared, the rivers and seas dissipated, and the sky and earth forming this ancient world all collapsed. Gu Dao's body trembled and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He staggered back more than 100 steps before he stopped and his face turned pale for the first time. Heaven Trampling Realm. This is the complete Heaven Trampling Realm. He was shocked as he looked at Wang Lin. He felt like a terrifying power was awakening. As Wang Lin stood there, everything that had happened was like an illusion. His eyes remained closed for a long time before he slowly opened them, and the trace of sorrow still remained. He looked at the sky for a long time. After one incense stick of time, Gu Dao looked at Wang Lin with a complicated gaze and slowly said, "Which bridge did you walk past?" "The 7th bridge, then I failed on the 8th. Wang Lin closed his eyes as if he wanted to keep the sorrow. "The 7th bridge?" Gu Dao smiled bitterly and he looked at Wang Lin profoundly. He clearly felt the intent to trample the heavens in that step. This intent was the ultimate expression of faith. With his current cultivation level, he was unable to take that step. "Perhaps I might really not be able to make you stay." Gu Dao took a deep breath and the complication in his eyes turned into determination as he continued. "However, I can't give up like this. I spent my entire life pondering One Dao world. I call it One Dao world because it's made from my faith in the ancient clan. I may not be as strong as the ancient ancestor, but my faith is different from his. He had faith that he could turn into the world, and because of this faith I could not leave the ancient clan. Perhaps in the ancient ancestor's mind, the land of the celestials was not a land formed by him, but a place he hated. My faith is to believe that the sky cannot cover my eyes, that the earth is unable to stop my body, that the sun and moon and the entire immortal astral continent are unable to stop my heart. With One Dao world, my heart is the Dao, my Dao tramples the heavens become stairs, and I trample the heavens to see the truth." After Gu Dao spoke, he waved his hand at the sky. The sky rumbled and a huge vortex enveloped the entire vast basin, as if it was the end of the world. Gu Dao's right hand pointed at Wang Li. "You are the heavens." Gu Dao's voice echoed like thunder and a powerful faith surged. As he pointed, ripples appeared around Wang Lin. Wang Lin felt something, and he looked up to see a giant foot appear from the vortex, trampling down toward him. After 200 years, Wang Lin once again felt a life or death crisis. People who were half a step into the heaven trampling stage were shockingly powerful. Wang Lin had comprehended the heaven trampling step from that familiar figure. Gu Dao had used his amazing wisdom and countless years of faith to comprehend his own heaven trampling Dao. All living things want to trample the heavens. Those that can't succeed have no faith, no will. This was engraved before the 8th bridge, and Wang Lin had seen it the second time he had gone to the heaven trampling bridges. At this moment, as he looked at Gu Dao, this sentence appeared in his mind. He suddenly understood something. Everything in this world, whether it was humans or beasts, even spirits, all had the intent to trample the heavens. Just like how he had answered Li Qianmei's 3 questions back in the cave world, the world was a circle, and outside that circle was another circle. Very few people are extraordinary from birth. All living things in the world desire to be extraordinary. They desire freedom so they won't be controlled by others. The law of this word is a circle, the strong preying on the weak in the cultivation world is a circle, and this entire world is a cage-like circle. The bright sky and the starry sky are also circles. Walk out of his circle, walk out of more circles until you tramples the heavens. Take the last step among all living things until nothing covers your eyes, and you are no longer confused. This is the true meaning of walk the path of true Dao, in the Dao scripture. Wang Lin murmured as he looked at the huge foot falling down from the sky. He vaguely understood. He vaguely had an enlightenment. Life and death, karma, true and false. If life and death were a rope, countless lives and deaths would connect together to form circles. These countless circles would form a net, and that net would be karma. This large karma net would be used to catch oneself in the river of reincarnation. The river of reincarnation contains true and false, and only with a pair of eyes that can see through true and false can one throw the net to fish oneself out. After I completed my true and false essence in the Donglin sect hundreds of years ago, I sensed the reincarnation essence. However, over the past hundreds of years, I still couldn't understand what reincarnation was. What is reincarnation? I originally thought it was a law that covered the afterlife. That was until the appearance of the ancient Dao imperial teacher. No matter the reason, he revealed that to truly resurrect one heir, I need to use the power of reincarnation in the immemorial God realm. At that time I was puzzled. What is the power of reincarnation? I thought it was a law of the world. Now I finally understand. Reincarnation is the heavens. I'll use my hands to cast this net of karma to the heavens to fish out my true self. Is this the meaning? Wang Lin's mind rumbled. All of these thoughts appeared in an instant and completely occupied his mind. At this moment he understood. Inside his body, another wisp appeared next to his 3 ethereal essences. This wisp was the reincarnation essence he had comprehended. So it's like this. Wang Lin silently pondered as the large foot rumbled above his head. It was only 1,000 feet away now. However, at this moment, a strange sound forced its way in and echoed throughout the world. It was the sound of wind. It was the song of the ancient clan. I was the first of the 9 songs, and after it appeared, all 9 songs followed. It was sky, earth, wind, thunder, cloud, rain, internal organs, body, and the final blood song. The song echoed violently from the heavens, from Wang Lin's body, and from the world. The descending foot seemed to slow down under the 9 songs. The wonderful feeling of this music was indescribable as it echoed across the world. When all 9 songs were playing, a sign appeared in the sky. Golden sky, black earth. The golden sky and black earth looked like an illusion, but they appeared clearly before Wang Lin. Gu Dao's heart trembled when he saw this. After the first sign, Wang Lin's eyes revealed silver light. This light was endless, and it was the second sign. The 9 songs and 3 signs had appeared on Wang Lin's body back on Mount Gu Dao. However, back then they were incomplete. A sign and a song were missing. In the ancient Dao Palace, they had appeared for the second time. The 9 songs were there, but one of the 3 signs was still missing. Now, at the center of the vast basin on the side of the sea storm, and under Grand Emperor Gu Dao's 1 Dao world, the 9 songs and 3 signs appeared for the 3rd time. However, this 3rd time still only had the 9 songs and was missing the 3rd sign. It was as if something was missing, like one key part was needed. Wang Lin raised his head. What he looked at was not the big foot that seemed to have stopped 1,000 feet from him. Instead, his gaze seemed to penetrate the spell, and he looked at the void beyond the sky. At this moment his mind was clear and he seemed to have understood what he was missing. Void Avatar, descend completely and fuse with me. What he was missing was being born from the void and being recognized by the void like the celestial ancestor and the ancient ancestor. In the void of the immortal astral continent, which was filled with laws, there was a large stone. Inside the stone sat a figure that had been sitting there for hundreds of years, close to 1,000. At this moment he seemed to hear a call and opened his eyes. His eyes were shining brightly and he looked exactly the same as Wang Lin. He was Wang Lin's avatar in the void. When he opened his eyes, the stone he was in shattered in all directions like pieces of an eggshell. The figure stood up and took a step forward before disappearing without a trace. On the immortal astral continent, in the vast basin next to the sea storm, as Wang Lin's voice echoed, a person walked out of the vortex in the sky. This person took a 3rd step. Gu Dao was shocked as he watched this person go to Wang Lin. Then their bodies overlapped and they fused. The moment they fused, Wang Lin let out a roar at the sky. This roar was heaven-shattering, and the echo of the roar went through a strange change. It sounded like a baby was crying. The sound of a baby crying echoed through the vast basin and entered the ancient clan. As it spread to the 3 imperial capitals, a crack appeared on each of the 3 ancient ancestor statues. It spread into the celestial clan and a crack also appeared on the celestial ancestor statue in the ancestral city. Endless energy erupted from the earth of the ancient clan and turned into figure. This was the ancient ancestor. In the celestial clan, endless energy erupted from the land and condensed into a second figure. It was the celestial ancestor. Their 2 figures could not be seen by ordinary people. Only Grand Empyreans could feel them. In the vast basin, a 3rd figure suddenly appeared. This figure surpassed both the celestial ancestor and the ancient ancestor as it rose into the sky. 9 songs and 3 signs. The 3rd sign is the baby's cry. Gu Dao muttered to himself. The sky, earth, wind, thunder, rain, cloud, internal organs, body, and blood songs echoed. The 3 signs, golden sky and black earth, silver eyes, and the baby's cry. The 9 songs and 3 signs had many legends on the immortal astral continent. However, the root of almost all these legends was that when the 9 songs and 3 signs appeared, the celestial ancestor or ancient ancestor would have an inheritor. At this moment, in the celestial ancestral city and the ancient clan's 3 imperial cities, cracks appeared on the celestial ancestor statue and the ancient ancestor statues. At the center of the vast basin, Grand Empyrean Gu Dao personally witnessed the legend appear before him. At this moment, the figure that had appeared above the ancient clan stood there, and let out a roar at the other giant figure that had appeared over in the celestial clan. These two figures seemed to support the heavens, but in between them, a third figure appeared. The moment this figure appeared, a bright light filled the world. This figure belonged to Wang Lin. That figure was Wang Lin, a third existence besides celestial and ancient. Wang Lin's eyes were closed. When his avatar in the void fused with him, the fusion of celestial and ancient powers, which had only completed a single cycle in 100 years, suddenly accelerated. At this moment, it completed a cycle and created a power that would only appear when celestial and ancient powers fused. Wang Lin vaguely gained an understanding that once his ethereal essences were complete, his celestial and ancient powers would fuse completely. From then on, there would no longer be celestial or ancient power in his body, just his own strength. At that time, he would have enough strength to throw the karma net into reincarnation and find his true self. He didn't know how much time had passed. It felt like an eternity had gone by, or maybe only an instant. Wang Lin opened his eyes, and when he looked up, he saw the foot from Gu Dao's spell. It seemed to have lost its power to bind him as it descended. When it was hundreds of feet from Wang Lin, he let out a sigh. After fusing with his avatar in the void and causing the 9 songs and 3 signs to appear, his cultivation level was beyond all existences on the immortal astral continent. Even if the celestial ancestor and ancient ancestor were here, he would be qualified to fight them. From now on the immortal astral continent, aside from the legends of the celestial ancestor and ancient ancestor, there would be Wang Lin's footprints as well. In Wang Lin's view, Gu Dao's current spell had just grasped the edge of the heaven trampling stage. He silently pondered, and when the giant foot was only 100 feet away, he pointed at it. With this, the giant foot trembled and collapsed into countless pieces before Wang Lin. A powerful storm caused the fragments to dissipate from the world, dissipate before Grand Empyrean Gu Dao's eyes. Gu Dao silently pondered. His face became even older and a trace of fatigue and relief surfaced. I can't stop you, but I hope that in 300 years, when the immemorial God realm opens, you will enter from the ancient clan side. Gu Dao looked at Wang Lin as he clasped his hands and bowed deeply. Wang Lin silently pondered. He looked at Grand Empyrean Gu Dao and then nodded. Thank you. Gu Dao opened his eyes, and when he did so, he returned to normal. Fog surrounded his body once more until it covered him completely. The fog churned and took him back toward the direction of the ancient clan. Wang Lin looked at where Gu Dao had gone until the fog and thunderous rumbles disappeared. He turned toward the sea storm and stepped toward it. After passing through the storm, he would be at the edge of the celestial clan and would soon arrive at the celestial clan. This battle ended when the two departed. In this battle, Gu Dao had lost, so the title of strongest on the immortal astral continent no longer belonged to Gu Dao, but to Wang Lin. However, aside from the Grand Empyreans rushing over, no one else even knew it had happened. On the 12th day after Wang Lin left, a total of 7 rays of light arrived from both sides of the seawall and revealed 7 people. These 7 people were the 7 Grand Empyreans of the immortal astral continent. They all knew each other. But even though they belonged to 2 different camps, they didn't want to fight. Instead, they all spread out their divine senses to observe the area and silently pondered. Ji-Du and the others didn't walk past the seawall, nor did they take a step to enter the ancient clan, but this didn't affect their divine senses. Xian Luo closed his eyes. When his divine sense spread out, his body trembled. This battle must have been heaven-shattering. Even though it had ended, the changes in the laws still remained. The remains of this battle won't disperse for hundreds of years, Song Tian muttered to himself. He also felt the shocking power and fluctuations of law from the battle that had taken place here. There was also the mysterious ancient Ji Grand Empyrean. He wore a mask that hid his appearance, so one could only tell that he was a man. He stood there with shock in his eyes. Who was battling Grand Empyrean Gu Dao? But no matter who it was, Grand Empyrean Gu Dao must have won. Could it be Wang Lin? Xian Luo opened his eyes. He was a bit uncertain. Inside the seawall, the 4 Grand Empyreans from the celestial clan all silently pondered. They withdrew their divine senses. They could not imagine what kind of battle had occurred here several days ago. I shouldn't be him, Daoyi pondered. He battled against Gu Dao and left behind such a shocking battlefield. If I had witnessed this battle, it would have helped my cultivation greatly. Jidu also sighed. He had doubts about who had fought against Gu Dao. Was that person really Wang Lin? Wu Feng looked at the battlefield with a complicated expression. The laws of the world here had collapsed and were in complete chaos. It was impossible to get a clear look or gain anything. In truth, the reason they had come here, aside from feeling the shocking change in the law here, was to personally witness the battle. However, it was obvious that doing so wouldn't be possible. As for Grand Empyrean Gemini, the two little girls had long fused into a beautiful woman. She remained silent, and even she had doubts about the person who had battled Gu Dao. Time passed. The seven of them paused here for an incense stick of time. The seven of them looked at each other, which caused the atmosphere to become depressing and contain killing intent. While all seven of them were pondering, Jidu suddenly spoke. Three fellow ancient clan cultivators, this old man has a suggestion. After he spoke, Song Tian and the others coldly looked over. If we were to fight, there would be no conclusion in a short period of time. The four of us won't step past this seawall, so there is no need to fight. You all came with the intent of viewing the battle. However, the battle is already over and the laws here are in complete chaos. According to my calculations, the world here will collapse completely in a few days and become a dead zone. At that time, the rest of us will lose the chance to perceive the details of this battle. We will also lose the chance to view this battle. This old man has a spell, and I'm confident that with the seven of us working together, we can temporarily reverse time. Then our divine senses would be able to enter, and we could personally witness the battle. I wonder, what do the three of you think of this? Jidu slowly asked. After Jidu finished speaking, Wu Feng pondered a bit and spoke as well. This old man just wants to see that scene. I have no other intent. I can make a faith oath. I can also make a vow. Daoyi hesitated a bit as he looked at Jidu and Wu Feng before nodding. As for Gemini, she pondered a bit and agreed. Song Tian's group looked at each other and, after pondering a bit, agreed as well. At their cultivation levels, their words were credible. The three of them also had their own methods, so they were not afraid of Jidu lying to them. After half an incense stick of time, the seven of them were prepared. Jidu took out a jade and let the other six look at it. They all formed seals and began the spell. 7 rays of light shined and surrounded the battlefield. A moment later, a thunderous rumble echoed and the 7 of them looked over. They gradually saw 2 figures appear inside the light that covered the battlefield. One of them was Gu Dao, who was covered in fog, and the other person was also blurry, but the 7 of them could recognize the aura. Wang Lin! It really was him! The 7 of them were shocked. But what they saw after this made them all dumbfounded and filled with disbelief. They saw Gu Dao's spell and Wang Lin's one step to trample the heavens. Finally, they saw Wang Lin pointing forward, causing the giant foot to collapse, and Gu Dao quietly leaving. Gu Dao's appearance and what he had talked about with Wang Lin was not something the 7 of them could hear or see. However, what they had seen already made the 7 of them stop breathing. Even after the scene ended, the 7 of them silently pondered for a long time. They all knew that the immortal astral continent was different now. The strongest person on the immortal astral continent was no longer Gu Dao, but Wang Lin. Daoyi's heart trembled. He was a Grand Empyrean, but he felt fear. Wang Lin's strength made him feel disbelief, but even more so, he felt fear. Was it him? In Jidu's mind, the gaze that seemed to have descended from the sky 100 years ago when the 72 souls all begged toward the sky resurfaced. While Jidu and the others were using the secret spell to watch the battle, Wang Lin arrived at the Celestial Clan. In the northern continent, he looked at the slightly familiar land and felt emotional. Hundreds of years ago, I left this place and headed toward the ancient clan. Now I've returned. Wang Lin let out a sigh and his gaze swept the land. His divine sense spread out toward the 72 continents, and a moment later, his divine sense covered the entire Celestial Clan's 72 continents. As his divine sense spread out, a smile gradually appeared on his face. With his previous cultivation level, he could not use this method to find his old friends. However, now, as the strongest person on the immortal astral continent, he could. Zhou Yi and Qing Shuang's cultivation levels have risen. I wonder if they kept that pill or not. Wang Lin's divine sense swept by but didn't stop. Wang Lin's smile widened as if he had seen something. This is Zidu. He should be Master Hong Shan. After reincarnation, he is still the same. Zhou, this child didn't walk down the path of cultivation. I don't know how many times she has reincarnated over these past hundreds of years. Wang Lin looked into the distance with a gentle gaze. 13. He was always excellent, and now his cultivation is extraordinary. From the looks of it, he is already very fast. Big Head, the pitiful person from the cave world who used his ruthlessness to cover up his fragile heart. Here he is still the same. This is Shengang who? He became the sect master of a sect. Wang Lin was a little shocked. Is she Red Butterfly? That mark can't be wrong. Qing Lin. He also chose not to cultivate and reincarnated several times like a mortal. Senior brother Qing Shui. Wang Lin's gaze became sharp and he carefully looked toward the west. He felt like that was where Qing Shui was, but the mark on his body was extremely faint. If not for the fact that Wang Lin's cultivation level was far higher than before, he would not have been able to detect it. If the mark on senior brother Qing Shui was completely gone, then even with my divine sense sweeping everyone, I wouldn't be able to find him. Fortunately, a trace of his mark still exists. Wang Lin murmured as his divine sense continued to search the 72 continents of the Celestial Clan. He had done the same thing in the Ancient Clan, but he had found no trace of any of his friends. In his heart, there was a shadow that made him feel very complicated. This shadow as a woman called Li Qianmei. Nothing. Wang Lin's divine sense swept across the 72 continents one by one. He had found almost everyone except for her. Still nothing. Wang Lin couldn't remember how many times he had searched. He searched again and again, but he could not find any trace of Li Qianmei. Just like when he had searched in the Ancient Clan, he couldn't find her. How could there be no trace? Wang Lin could not be calm, and his divine sense erupted. Not only did he cover the Celestial Clan, but with his current cultivation level, he covered the vast basin and the Ancient Clan as well. He searched again and again, his divine sense swept out again and again, but he found no trace of Li Qianmei. Wang Lin's face turned place. He could not find her. Could it be that during reincarnation, there was an accident? Wang Lin felt a sting in his heart. He could not forget the woman called Li Qianmei, her face and soft eyes. She had come to the immortal astral continent for him. She had left her father and came to reincarnate here all alone, silently waiting for the man she loved to find her and release her memory. Impossible. Wang Lin's divine sense spread out once more for a whole day. His divine sense had swept across almost every inch of the immortal astral continent, but in the end, he still found nothing. Wang Lin pressed against his chest and felt pain. He looked at the sky and suddenly laughed. However, this laughter was filled with anger. Anger at the heavens. You let me finally Muin's soul but made me lose Li Qianmei. Is this the so-called fate? Is this the heavens making a fool of me? I don't believe it. I'll still be able to find her. Wang Lin roared at the sky, and his roar echoed across the world. With teacher's help, the chance of an accident was very low. Since I can't find her, the most likely chance is that she recovered her memory earlier than senior brother Qing Shui and the mark disappeared. Wang Lin closed his eyes, and after analyzing the situation, he was almost certain of it. With his eyes closed, he could vaguely see a woman in white looking up at the sky with tears flowing down from her eyes. She had long remembered her previous life but was avoiding him. Or perhaps she didn't want to see Wang Lin. The sky gradually darkened as Wang Lin stood in the air and opened his eyes. His eyes revealed a trace of sadness and confusion. He silently pondered as he walked forward and disappeared into the darkness. Celestial Clan, Western Continent's Yuntao continent. In the northern part of this continent there was a sect. This sect was not large. It could only be considered a small sect in the Yuntao continent. This morning, there were many disciples cultivating in the sect. In the secret chamber in the back mountain of the sect sat a middle-aged man. This man was filled with determination and a sense of coldness. He was dressed in black and his eyes were closed as he cultivated. Ripples were spreading from his body, shrouding his surroundings. This revealed the man's cultivation level to be at the peak of the second step, and only one step away from the third step. As the person with the fastest cultivation in the last 1,000 years in the Golden Furnace sect, he was very famous. He had high status in the sect and was being personally taught by the head elder. Not only was his cultivation level high, he was very decisive and ruthless. He even had a reputation in the Yuntao continent and had killed someone who had just entered the third step, causing his name to be known by many other sects. In particular, this battle was even more decisive than that of some third-step cultivators. Anyone who fought him would die by his hands 9 out of 10 times. This slaughter made him number 1 among the younger generation, but even some ordinary elders were shocked by his killing intent. His name was Wang, sure as in stone. He was an orphan and didn't know who his parents were. He had been picked up by an old Taoist and grew up in the sect. He only knew that when he cultivated, he would often see the back of a figure. This back was very large and made him feel warm, but no matter what, he could not see the appearance of this figure. At the beginning, even the back of this figure was blurry, and as his cultivation level increased, the back of this figure gradually became more clear. He felt that if he could reach the third step, he would clearly see this figure. This was the reason why he cultivated like crazy. Wang sure. As he cultivated, a voice came from outside the secret chamber. Then a ray of light flew before him and turned into the illusory figure of an old man. The man opened his eyes. He looked at the old man respectfully, then he got up and bowed. "Greetings, head elder. You are still not willing to call me teacher." The illusory figure frowned. This disciple was very strange. He wanted to accept this person as his disciple, but Wang sure remained silent and wouldn't agree. This made him unhappy, but as time passed, this man's cultivation speed caught his attention once more. He ignored the fact that this person wouldn't accept him as his teacher, and taught him his personal spells. Now many years had passed, and there was a relationship of teacher and disciple between them. However, even now, Wang sure never called him teacher. Wang sure also didn't know the reason, but he always felt like the person before him was not his teacher. As for who it should be, he was confused. Forget it. Prepare a bit and head down the mountain in 3 days. Go to the Dao Yun sect for me to send the congratulatory gift. The illusory figure shook his head and disappeared. Wang sure respectfully nodded. After the figure disappeared, his eyes were filled with confusion, and after a long time, he let out a sigh. After he sat back down to cultivate again, a sigh came from behind him. This sigh came too suddenly and made Wang sure tremble, but he didn't recklessly turn around. He knew that for this person to come here without him or his teacher knowing, then this person's cultivation level had to be very high. Wang sure gravely said, "Who are you, sir? Tell me why your name is Wang sure. Who gave you this name?" A soft voice came from behind Wang sure. When this name entered Wang sure's ears, he felt his heart tremble. It was very familiar, and it felt like some memories were going to awaken. He could not help but become confused. He subconsciously answered, I'm an orphan and I named myself. I felt that I should be named Wang." Silence came from behind him. Wang sure's eyes shined and he took this chance to turn around. He saw behind him a young man in white with white hair looking at him with a gentle gaze. This was the gaze of an elder looking at their junior. When he saw the person's appearance, Wang sure's body trembled and his heart went into chaos. The back of the figure in his dream appeared and gradually overlapped with this person. You. The confusion in his eyes became even stronger. Wang Lin let out a sigh and pointed at Wang sure's forehead. With this, Wang sure's heart trembled violently and with a bang, his memory was suddenly restored. Teacher. 13 greets teacher. Tears flowed down from the man's eyes as he knelt without hesitation toward Wang Lin. His face was filled with excitement, and the northeastern part of the lofty mountain continent, there was a mountain range. Not far from the official road, there was a paradise-like village. There weren't many people in the village, only a few hundred. Most of them were hunters, and they relied on the dense forest filled with beasts for a living. This was originally not a village. It used to just be a desolate land where hunters rested. It was unknown how long ago, but the family of an official had come here, escaping from the city, and settled down here. As time slowly passed, the village formed like this. At the western end of the village, there was a house surrounded by fences. There was a teenage girl wearing patched linen clothes feeding the poultry. Smoke was coming from the chimney. It was early morning and it was clear that breakfast was being prepared inside the house. As the girl fed the poultry, she laughed and spoke toward the house. "Mom, I had another dream last night. I dreamt that I became a celestial again." "You child, you're so big already and still fantasize about becoming a celestial. When I was as old as you, I was already married to your father." A gentle voice came from the house. "Is that because my father is the most powerful hunter in the village? I heard that a lot of people wanted to date father at the time." The girl smiled. She was very cute. Her appearance was not particularly beautiful, but she gave off a pure and lovely temperament. "Who did you hear this from?" A woman walked out. She was wearing simple clothes, but this could not hide her beauty. Her eyes widened as she pretended to be angry and held a pot of vegetables. The girl was going to speak when a hearty laughter came from the gate. "It was me who said it." The gate was pushed open and a powerful middle-aged man walked in. He was carrying a bow and arrows along with a small beast. However, there was dried blood on his leg. It was unknown if it belonged to the small beast or him. "Father!" The girl was surprised and immediately threw dustpan and ran up. "Wow, it and Appos as a leopard. Its skin is so beautiful. This is great." The girl's eyes seemed to light up and she leaped happily. "How come you were gone for so long this time? Normally, you return after 2 or 3 days. The woman quickly walked up and helped the middle-aged man put down the beast and bow and arrows. The little girl said that she wanted some good leather. "On the way, I encountered this leopard and it delayed me a bit," the man said as he rubbed the girl's head. "What happened to your leg?" The woman immediately saw the blood on the man's leg. She quickly knelt down to take a look and saw a shallow scratch. "No problem. With little white around, the beasts in the mountain can't hurt me." The man laughed as a shadow sprang through the gate and pounced on the girl. It licked the girl non-stop. It was a big black dog. However, it looked more like a tiger, which made for a shocking sight. Little White was learning how to roar like a tiger in the mountains again. "I'm really confused. Is he a tiger or a dog?" The man looked at the dog and smiled bitterly. "Little White is good, so obedient." The girl pushed the big black dog aside and stroked the dog's hair. The dog seemed to enjoy it a lot. It lied on its back, exposing its belly. The girl laughed and began rubbing the dog's belly. The dog looked very comfortable and let out growls like a real tiger. The entire family was laughing and couldn't detect the figure in white floating in the sky. Wang Lin looked down at the happy family, and when he saw the girl's smiling face, he also smiled. "Little White. I almost forgot that he was brought here and also reincarnated. I just didn't expect for him to reincarnate into a big dog. And from the looks of it, he has gained intelligence and has pretty good cultivation." Wang Lin smiled as the big dog laid on the ground enjoying himself. However, when he looked up at the sky, he actually saw Wang Lin's figure and was startled. His expression was instantly filled with fear. The big dog blinked and even stopped making the growling sound. Wang Lin looked at the dog, and when he saw the fear in the dog's eyes, his smile widened. "Oh, you recognize me." However, the family didn't notice the strangeness in the dog's behavior. The young girl was looked at her father and affectionately said, "Father, I dreamed about being a celestial again last night." "Good, being a celestial is good. My little girl will definitely become a celestial." The man laughed. "I don't want to become a celestial. I feel like I spent a lifetime as a celestial, but I was not happy at all. Right now is much better. It was just a dream. I don't want to become a celestial. I'll be with father and mother for the rest of my life." The girl's words were very serious. Her words startled Wang Lin, and he revealed a complicated expression. He looked at the girl's happy smile and then at the calm mountain village. After a long time, Wang Lin took another profound gaze before he disappeared into the sky. Perhaps this is the life she wanted. That night, she had a dream once more. In the dream, she had a different name, Zhou. She also had a black figure with her named Little White. She always bullied this figure and made it do handstands. She also had an uncle, and that uncle was her closest relative. In the dream, her uncle had asked her if she wanted to leave with him. She silently pondered for a long time and then told this uncle, who she felt was very close to her, that she wanted to stay here. That night, the dog also had a dream in which he became a tiger and was extremely fierce, doing anything he wished. He was surrounded by many female tigers and female beasts. It was very enjoyable. He also dreamed that a man in white had appeared before him. He knew this man. It was the despicable man who had captured him back then. This person gave him some delicious pills and then patted his head before leaving. One day, when Zhou wants to pursue her own dream, you can unseal her memory. The man left and his words echoed inside the dog's mind for a long time. The Celestial Clan's central continent. The ancestral city was simply too large, so one could see both the sun and moon appear in the city. At this moment, it was night at the Imperial Palace, but it was not dark because of the many lights in the palace. The entire palace was silent. A lonely figure walked out from the darkness and looked at the palace below. The figure stood there for a long time before descending. The light in the palace became hazy as the figure descended. It was as if another space was overlapping. It wasn't until the person stepped onto the square of the palace that the lights returned to normal. Wang Lin looked at this place. Back then, he had almost died here and couldn't leave with the madman. He could only watch as the madman entered eternal slumber and became a mountain to suppress the 72 continents. When I left, I vowed that once I came back again, I was going to awaken the madman. No one can stop me again. Wang Lin murmured as he stomped on the ground. With this step, the ground of the entire palace trembled without anyone noticing. What trembled was not the real palace, but the overlapping space. Wang Lin's surroundings became blurry and his figure flickered before he disappeared. When he reappeared, he was inside the underground palace. The entire underground palace was in a haze and was mostly the same compared to before. The only difference was that only one mountain remained. This mountain pierced into the sky and was very large. Standing outside mountain, Wang Lin felt the sleeping madman inside it. There were countless restrictions and seals inside and outside the mountain. Even a Grand Empyrean would need a lot of time to break them. Wang Lin raised his right hand and waved at the mountain. The mountain rumbled and collapsed at a rapid rate. Large amounts of rocks fell off, and in the blink of an eye, all the restrictions and seals disappeared with a wave of Wang Lin's hand. As the mountain collapsed, the madman's body appeared. He was quietly lying there with his eyes closed. He was sleeping. There were fluctuations of Grand Empyrean cultivation coming from his body. Wang Lin walked forward and arrived beside the madman. He looked at the madman and pointed at the madman's forehead. With this, the madman's body suddenly trembled. Wang Lin closed his eyes and his divine sense spread out through his finger, entering the madman's body to awaken him. In a flash, half an hour passed. Wang Lin opened his eyes, revealing a complicated expression as he looked at the madman, and said, "If you really choose this, then I respect your choice. You take care." Wang Lin stood up with a sigh and walked toward the sky, disappearing from the underground palace. After Wang Lin left, the madman opened his eyes and looked at where Wang Lin had stood for a long time. "I have been confused for a lifetime. I was crazy for a lifetime, but I'm still a descendant of the celestial ancestor. Now that Lian Daozhen is dead, if I leave, the celestial clan will have no emperor. I want to leave this place, leave the immortal astral continent, but since I have the celestial ancestor's inheritance, I must have the backbone to bear it. This is my responsibility. I came to an understanding during my slumber." The madman stood up, revealing a rare trace of determination as he bitterly muttered to himself, "Guard the celestial clan so the generations can continue. When I feel that I no longer have to continue my responsibilities, I'll come and find you, Wang Lin." The madman stood up. He was wearing the royal robe and crown. He no longer had any hint of the madness he had in the past, but gave off the aura of authority that was befitting of the celestial emperor. Wang Lin respected the madman's decision. Everyone had their own responsibilities. Wang Lin understood this. He had no right to decide madman's responsibilities. As a friend, the best he could do was awaken the madman. As for what he should do next, there was no need for Wang Lin to interfere. Wang Lin also had a path he had to take. He wanted to return to the cave world, back to planet Suzaku, back to where he grew up. Perhaps the next time I meet the madman will be 300 years from now. Wang Lin walked into the distance. Although he was the most powerful person on the immortal astral continent, there were still things he was confused about, like the immemorial god realm, the All-Seer, and Wan Er's resurrection. Walking under the vast sky, Wang Lin also felt confused. He didn't know if the old friends he was seeking wanted their memories awakened, or wanted to return to the cave world with him. Perhaps forgetting the past and beginning anew on the immortal astral continent is the best for them, Wang Lin murmured as he thought about Zhou Ru. That was her choice. I can't replace their choices with my will. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he looked into the distance. That was where Situ Nan was. The country of Xian was a mortal country in the northern part of the central continent in the Heavenly Wax continent. There were 4 countries in the Heavenly Wax continent, and there was friction between them year-round. Although there were no large-scale wars, there were many small battles on the borders. However, the 4 countries kept it under control, so the scale of the battles never expanded too much. At the border of Wuxian and Zhouling, there was a large amount of soldiers stationed here. The military camp looked endless and was densely packed with people. There was a powerful killing intent in the air. Closer to the country, at the gate of the camp, thousands of soldiers were standing in vertical columns. Several generals and officers were looking into the distance as if they were waiting for something. Not long after, the sounds of horses could be heard along the official road. A black horse rushed forward like the wind and charged through the thousands of soldiers before stopping in front of the generals. The war horse hissed and its hooves raised into the air. Then a person jumped down from the horse. This person was also wearing armor. After landing, he got down on one knee and clasped his hands. Report. King Nan's group is now 50 kilometers away, the soldier announced in a loud voice. Then he lowered his head to wait for orders. Among the group, there was an old man who gave off pressure without being angry. He was at the center of the group and quickly said, "Continue to scout. The vanguard are to welcome King Nan's group." After he finished speaking, a middle-aged man quickly stepped forward. After clasping his hands at the old man, he set off with 10,000 soldiers from the camp, kicking up a lot of dust. Beside the old general, a civil servant stepped out and said, "Great General, this King Nan is likely coming with ill intentions. Rumor has it that King Nan likes to enjoy himself and is extremely wasteful. Almost everyone fears him as he passes. I also heard that King Nan has a lot of wives and has built palaces for them. Rumor has it that he has even more than today's emperor." The person who spoke hesitated for a moment and didn't finish. The old general was still silently pondering as if he hadn't heard the words of the people beside him. He stood there without a word, but there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. This coldness remained in his eyes as a powerful aura surrounded him. As the great general of the border, controlling nearly 500,000 troops while not being royalty naturally caused displeasure among others. If not for the fact that the country of Wuxian needed an invincible general like him, he would have long been forced to retire. Rumor has it that King Nan is extremely arrogant and cares a lot about appearances. If the scale of the welcoming party is not large enough, he might not be happy. "Great General, should we send more people over?" "Great General, this humble one also feels that we should send more people to greet him. Since King Nan likes a grand scene, then we should greet him with our 100,000-man army. Line the streets with our soldiers to let him see the might of our army." "Great General, there is no need to hesitate. King Nan is a despicable man and is already targeting Great General. For such a person we should." The old general frowned and raised his hand. Everyone became silent as all gazes landed on him. It could be seen that his prestige in this army could not be replaced by anyone. "My soldiers are all heroes who have survived decades of bloodshed. I won't agree to use them to greet King Nan. Gather 1,000 people. Me being here personally is enough." The old general's words were filled with determination, and no one could object. After he spoke, everyone's expressions became serious, and they clasped their hands in acknowledgement. 1,000 kilometers away, a luxurious carriage about 100 feet long was moving along the official road with a convoy of carriages stretching almost 1 kilometer long. There were martial artists dressed in ordinary clothing around the carriages. Sounds of music came from the 100-foot-long carriage. along with the sound-soft women laughing. It looked quite lively inside. Good, good, dance. This king will reward you. A man's voice cut through the laughter. There even seemed to be faint moaning coming from the carriage as well. The surrounding guards had long become accustomed to this and didn't care at all. After the carriage traveled a few kilometers, a youth in blue sitting next to the carriage let out a sharp roar. King Nan has commanded us to stop the march. As his words echoed, the long chain of carriages gradually came to a stop. Beautiful women all walked out from the huge carriage in front. Their clothes were a mess and it was obvious they had just put them on. They all looked fatigued as they walked toward the carriages in the back. There were many women, dozens of them. It was difficult to imagine all of them being in the 100-foot carriage. As they left, dozens of charming women walked out from the carriages in the back. They looked like replacements and quickly entered the carriage in front. Soon, the music and moaning voices, along with the man's laughter, echoed once more. As the carriages moved forward, a battalion of 1,000 people that had been sent to welcome them could be seen. Seeing only this many people coming to greet them, a cold snort came from the 100-foot carriage. However, the carriage didn't stop. It continued forward under the protection of these 1,000 soldiers. 1 hour later, the convoy of carriages appeared before the barracks. Moaning sounds occasionally escaped from the 100-foot carriage. As they closed in, the moaning sounds became even more clear, and all the soldiers present heard them. This caused the old general to frown and displeasure appeared in his eyes. He let out a snort and walked forward. A large amount of civil servants followed him, filled with killing intent. As he closed in, all the guards around the stopped carriage became nervous. They could feel the killing intent coming from the old general, and it made them tremble. The guards were afraid, but they quickly walked forward. The youth on the carriage quickly stood up and let out a sharp scream. "Stop! King Nan!" Before the youth finished speaking, a middle-aged general next to the older general revealed a fierce gaze and yelled, "Who are you?" When he spoke, all the gazes of the soldiers here gathered on this youth, creating an invisible pressure. The youth's face suddenly turned pale and he didn't even dare to speak. "See, Nan, what are you doing?" As the old general approached, a roar came from the carriage. Along with his words, the moans suddenly stopped. The old man gave off a pressure without being angry as stood next to the carriage and spoke. "This old general Xian greets King Nan." After a moment of silence, a curtain was opened from inside the carriage and a middle-aged man walked out. His eyes were faintly black and looked somewhat hollow. He stood on the carriage as he looked at the old general. There was a flash gloominess when he suddenly smiled. "Indeed worthy of being my Wuxian's great general Xian. With you protecting the border, there is nothing for Wuxian to fear. This king came to reward the border general." "Oh? Then let's enter the barracks, please." The old general looked at King Nan with an indifferent expression. However, his gaze gave King Nan great pressure. In addition, everyone here gave off killing intent and had cold gazes, which made sweat appear on his forehead. King Nan squeezed out a smile and quickly said, "No need. This king can stay outside. There's no need to go in." No one knew that Wang Lin had watched everything from beginning to end. Wang Lin was standing in the sky and his gaze was locked onto one person. That person was the old general Xian. He didn't become a king, but a great general. "I don't know what he will think once he regains his memories." Wang Lin revealed a smile. He was very happy. Deep into the night, the torches flickered and teams of soldiers patrolled the barracks. The entire camp looked like a heavily armored city and also gave off a sense of order. Outside the camp, there was no longer any music. It was completely calm. Lights were extinguished in most of the tents. Only a few remained, and the figures inside could be seen. In particular, the light in the general's tent was bright and there were many guards around the tent. The old general Xian was standing next to a map and frowning. There was only him here, and it was very quiet, with only the sound of the candle burning. "King Nan. Humph, such a person is not worthy of being called King Nan." The old general looked at the map and coldly snorted. For some unknown reason, he had a strange feeling toward the name King Nan. It was as if no one in the world was qualified to be called King Nan. Oh? Then who deserved to be called King Nan? A teasing voice came from behind the old general. The old general's body trembled, but he soon recovered to normal. He turned around to see a white-clothed and white-haired youth standing not far away, staring at him with a smile. Before this old man becomes a king, no one is qualified to be called King Nan. The old general didn't panic at all as he calmly sat there. Sit. The old general pointed ahead. Wang Lin looked at him and let out a sigh of admiration. It was extremely rare for someone to remain so calm when a stranger suddenly appeared. In particular, this calmness was not fake, but true calmness. Wang Lin faintly smiled and sat opposite of the old general. Do you have wine? Wang Lin laughed. How can there be no wine in an army? The old general laughed and shouted a command to the people outside. Someone bring wine. A respectful reply came from outside, and then a few soldiers came in. Upon seeing Wang Lin, they were all startled, especially the guards outside. Their expressions changed drastically. They hadn't seen anyone entering. The old general's expression remained the same as he waved his hand and said, "Put down the wine and leave." The guards silently put down a few jugs of wine beside Wang Lin and the old general before they all retreated. General Xian has such strong composure. Wang Lin picked up a jug of wine and took a big gulp. For Sir to silently come here, that means even if the soldiers came, they wouldn't be able to stop you, so what's the point? The old general said as he picked up a jug of wine, broke the seal, and drank a lot. The smile on Wang Lin's face became even wider. He was truly happy. It could be said that ever since coming to the immortal astral continent, occasions where he felt this happy had been rare. This was different from finding Li Muan's soul or being with Xian Luo. This was the indescribable feeling of meeting an old friend. This kind of feeling made him feel very relaxed and very happy. Figures flashed outside the tent and footsteps echoed. In just a few words, countless soldiers surrounded the tent and all the generals were here. They all looked like they were going to face a powerful enemy, but none of them dared to enter. They could only surround the tent. They were all nervous, but their killing intent didn't decrease a bit. It all condensed together. This caused the countless torches in the barracks to become dim. Time passed, and in a flash it was about to be dawn. The soldiers had been outside for almost the whole night. If not for the laughter coming from inside, they would have rushed inside. However, the laughter just made them even more confused. Interesting. Sir Wang has been to so many places. This old man has heard about the mountain, say, but it is too far away. As a mortal, I can't go there. The old general put down an empty jug and picked up another one. If you want, you can. Wang Lin drank the spicy wine as he looked at his old friend and smiled. Oh, Sir Wang should be a cultivator. The old general's eyes lit up. Wang Lin nodded but didn't speak. He continued to drink wine. Time flowed once more until dawn. The darkness faded and the sun gradually rose into the sky. Wang Lin and the old general had been drinking wine for the whole night. Wang Lin talked a lot about his experiences on the immortal astral continent. He talked about the Heavenly Bull continent, the Green Devil continent, and the Ancestral City. He even talked about everything that had happened in the ancient clan. When he said how he had found Li Muan's soul fragments, tears fell, and when he talked about how he had killed the ancient Tao Emperor and traded a life for his teacher's grace, his expression became dim. He talked about everything, until the point he left the ancient clan and returned to the celestial clan. The old general listened to all of this. He could not imagine what kind of identity this person had. If what this person had said was true, then this person must have a shocking identity in the celestial clan. However, why had this person appeared in his tent in the middle of the night to drink and talk with him? In the old general's mind, this person before him was slowly becoming familiar. It was as if sense of familiarity was hidden inside the depths of his memories and was being revealed now. When he saw Wang Lin's tears and sadness, he also felt it. It was as if he had personally witnessed the story between Wang Lin and Li Muan. I can't find Li Qianmei. Situ, I looked for a long time, but I could not find her. Wang Lin murmured as he bitterly drank wine. There were some things he could not talk about with others, but he could with Situ. Situ? Who is that? The old general revealed a complicated expression when he heard this name. He had heard Wang Lin say this name a lot. Wang Lin put down an empty wine jug and picked up another. Throughout the night, they had asked people to bring in wine several times. I have a good friend called Situ. Wang Lin muttered as he looked at the old general. The old general was filled with confusion as he looked at Wang Lin and said, "To become your good friend, this person named Situ must also be a cultivator." Wang Lin revealed a smile as he softly said, "He is a cultivator that wants to become a king. If you want to hear his story, then you have to start from a place called Suzaku and a rank 3 cultivation country called Zhao." Wang Lin's voice echoed inside the tent. The old general listened and the confusion in his eyes increased. Time passed. When morning arrived and the sun shined brightly outside, Wang Lin's voice was still going. Li Qianmei Situ Nan Qing Shui. They have all been reincarnated in the immortal astral continent. I left my mark on them, and that is the only way to find them. Wang Lin took a sip of wine as he looked at the old general and smiled. The old general silently pondered. His body trembled and after a long time, he suddenly opened his eyes. "I'm Situ Nan?" He stared at Wang Lin and his voice was hesitant. Wang Lin looked at the old general and slowly nodded. "You're Situ Nan, I'm Wang Lin." "Wang Lin," the old general muttered, and after a long time he began to laugh. As he laughed, tears flowed out. He normally wouldn't believe this, but the feeling of familiarity coming from his soul, and everything he had heard about the cave world made it impossible for him not to believe it. He didn't believe a celestial cultivator would come deceive a mortal like him. "So I have already reincarnated many times on the immortal astral continent, and this time I'm Xian, Wuxian country's great general." The old general laughed even more as his tears continued to flow. He believed all of this, but it was also this belief that made it difficult to accept. "Out of the 500,000 soldiers outside, many have been following me since their grandfather's generation. Their grandfathers died and then their fathers followed me. Even many of their fathers have died, but they continue to follow me. Now you tell me I'm Situ Nan. I'm Situ Nan, who wanted to become a king. If I'm not Wuxian Xian, then what are all those soldiers going to do?" Due to the old general's voice, the curtain was opened and the soldiers rushed in. However, one shout from the old general drove them all out again. "Reincarnation! Reincarnation! One reincarnation has so many restrictions. I have reincarnated several times." The old general was sitting on his seat as he looked at Wang Lin with a complicated expression, and his laughter turned bitter. "I'm sorry. This was my own choice back then. I chose to reincarnate on the immortal astral continent, and that has nothing to do with you." Wang Lin silently pondered as he continued to drink wine. "Help me unseal the memories of my previous life." The old general continued to drink until he emptied 3 jugs. His eyes were bloodshot and he looked drunk as he stared at Wang Lin. When late night came again, Wang Lin left the camp with a complicated expression. He floated in the air and looked back at the camp proudly. When he looked back, the old general opened the curtains and looked up at him. "Wang Lin, once this old man completes this reincarnation with no regrets and becomes King Nan, I'll go and find you," the old general said. His voice was filled with arrogance and vigor. Wang Lin revealed a smile and began to laugh. His laughter became louder and louder. "Situ, once you have been a king for long enough, we will drink again." Wang Lin turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the world. "Boys, organize the army. First bring that damn fellow King Nan over. This old man has been unhappy with him for a long time. He dares to call himself King Nan. This old man has thought it through. I'm going to be King Nan." The old general seemed to become a lot younger and laughed. Reincarnation? What exactly is reincarnation? I thought reincarnation was the heavens, but in truth, reincarnation is more than the heavens. Wang Lin walked through the sky in the appearance of Zhou, Situ Nan, and the madman appeared in his mind. The madman's choice may not be reincarnation, but Zhou and Situ chose reincarnation. They didn't choose to live because they had chosen to integrate into life here. They had too many connections they were unwilling to give up. Zhou could not give up her parents and affection in this life. Situ could not give up on the lives of the soldiers that followed him. A reincarnation is a lifetime and one has many ties in life. How could it be all cut so easily? This is the power of reincarnation. It can make one unable to free themselves or not want to free themselves. There was confusion in Wang Lin's eyes, and he seemed to gain more enlightenment in this confusion. Reincarnation is the heavens and is also a mirror. The self in the mirror is reincarnation. The confusion in Wang Lin's eyes gradually dissipated and was replaced with clarity. His understanding of reincarnation was steadily growing toward completion after seeing Zhou and Situ Nan. The narrow road below was like a line that peaked into the heavens. I wonder what the others' choices will be. Wang Lin looked into the distance, let out a sigh and walked away. Celestial Clan, a mountain range in the northern continent. There was a dense forest here and it was very dangerous. There was a cave there without anyone around, only birds and beasts. However, when the cave appeared here years ago, no beasts had dared to come here. The cave was extremely luxurious, and countless night pearls made this place very bright. However, due to how quiet it was, the whole place felt cold. At this moment, there was a cultivator sitting in the master room in the cave. The cultivation didn't look old and his body was like a dwarf's. His head was also very large. Compared to his head, his small body looked out of place. This big-headed cultivator was gloomy, and as he cultivated, the entire cave became cold. Big head! As the cultivator cultivated, a voice suddenly appeared and echoed inside the cold cave. The heart of the cultivator trembled and he suddenly opened his eyes. He didn't hesitate to spit out a ray of green light that flew at the white figure that had appeared in the cave. Wang Lin revealed a strange expression. The green light was a centipede, and it rushed toward him with its mouth open. Wang Lin pointed at the centipede and it froze in the air. The big-headed cultivator was shocked. This centipede had been refined in his origin soul, and therefore could even hold off someone stronger than him. This could give him time to escape or attack again. However, it had just been easily frozen by the person before him. He couldn't even tell what spell the other person had used. Ma Tao, are you going to kill me? Big Head let out a roar. His body rumbled and a large amount of fog spread out. He was about to escape. Ma Tao. Wang Lin was startled and pointed at the fog. A ray of light penetrated the fog and landed between the eyebrows of the big-headed cultivator as he tried to escape. Big Head's body trembled and confusion appeared in his eyes. Various memories appeared in his mind. At the same time, Wang Lin's hand reached out and the power of the world around the mountain condensed into his hand to form a small sword. This sword was formed by the power of the world and created from Wang Lin's faith spell. So it was an absolute treasure. With a toss, the small sword flew into the fog and stabbed into the side of the wall. Deep inside the fog was Big Head, who was awakening his memories. Wang Lin revealed a gentle smile as he waved his sleeve and power of the world gathered to turn a large amount of pills into a gourd. He placed it on the ground and left. After a long time, the fog dispersed and Big Head walked out with a complex expression and in a daze. He sat there, looking at the empty cave for a long time before he raised his head and muttered, "Master!" He saw the sword that frightened him and the gourd filled with pills. Tears flowed down from his eyes. Also in the northern continent, but in another continent. A dozen rays of light were flying through the sky as a ray of crystal light dashed by. The cultivators were caught off guard as the crystal light disappeared between them. No one noticed that when the crystal light disappeared, it entered the spot between the eye. These cultivators were suspicious for a while, and after debating about it, they rushed forward once more. The child in Red's eyes were filled with confusion, and after a few hours, the group rested on the mountain side. The confusion in his eyes dissipated and was replaced with a complicated emotion. "I'm Master Hongshan." The boy in red looked at the sky and slowly smiled. He took a deep breath as he looked at the land before him, filled with excitement. Eastern continent. In the Nananai continent, Wang Lin briefly passed by a small sect. There weren't many cultivators in this sect, only about 1,000 people. The location of their sect wasn't very good, and the spiritual energy here was not dense. As the edict had been sent by the Grand Empyreans to prepare for the opening of the immemorial god realm, undercurrents had begun to move across the continent. This made it so the smaller sects could no longer live in peace and had to rely on the larger sects to survive. The war was about to start, and a small sect like this would find it difficult to continue in the war between the ancients and celestials. Shun Bao was the master of this sect, and his cultivation was extraordinary. He was very anxious as he didn't know what the future held or if his sect would still exist after the war in a few hundred years. He had expended a lot of effort to climb to his current position and become the master of a sect. He didn't want to give it up, but right now the only path before him was to submit to a stronger power. However, the powers he could choose from would have different consequences, all of them equally serious. The elders of the sect also had different opinions than him on this matter, and there were signs of division. While Shun Bao was anxious, a young man wearing white with white hair arrived outside the sect. He walked into the sect. Wang Lin found Shun Bao, and a few hours later, Wang Lin left. After he left, Shun Bao stood outside the hall and looked at the sky with confusion in his eyes. After a long time, the confusion disappeared and turned into determination. During this period of time, Wang Lin saw almost all of his old friends from the cave world. He unlocked the memories of some, and for certain people he gave them power to decide. However, no matter the end result, Wang Lin would leave behind something to protect them, because they came from the same cave world. More accurately, they were all people that belonged to the Seven Dao sect, the Sun and Moon sect, the strongest sect of the Tianfang continent. Their sect had more than 100,000 members, and was one of the 9 sects and 13 factions of the Eastern continent. There were many geniuses in the Sun and Moon sect. However, none of them could compare to a woman named Qing Hong. Her talent was difficult to find even once every 10,000 years. Hundreds of years ago, she became a disciple of the Sun and Moon sect. In a short period of less than 1,000 years, she reached the 3rd step and was at the peak of Nirvana Void. She was only 1 step from reaching Spirit Void. This was greatly related to the Sun and Moon sect fully developing her, but this also showed how important she was to the sect. The Golden Exalt head elder of the sect was in closed-door cultivation year-round. Rumor had it that she had the power of an Empyrean Exalt but had never gone to the Empyrean trial. This person had personally accepted this woman as her disciple, and every few years she would come out to give this woman pointers. Sometimes she would even bring this woman into closed-door cultivation with her. This woman was called the Saintess of the Sun and Moon sect. Many people looked up to her, and due to her beauty, she was loved by many of the disciples. However, this woman was simply too outstanding and her personality was simply too cold. Over the hundreds of years she never chose a Tao partner, but the more she was like this, the more the disciples of the Sun and Moon sect looked up to her. In particular, the children of the elders and those disciples who felt qualified never stopped their pursuit of her. On this day, this woman named Qing Hong left closed-door cultivation. The clouds outside were dark and thunder was rumbling as if it was going to rain. The thunder made her restless, as if something was going to happen. She stood outside her own cave as she looked at the dark clouds and the purplish-red light from the sun. There was confusion in her eyes. A beautiful butterfly flew from the distance while facing the violent wind. It floated before her and attracted her attention. She liked the color red in butterflies. The people in the sect only knew of her first like, but no one knew of the second. Looking at the flying butterfly, the confusion in the eyes of the beautiful woman became even stronger. Like the other people who had reincarnated, there was confusion in her dreams. She always felt like she didn't belong to this world. This feeling made her indifference extraordinary. Thunder rumbled and rain fell onto the earth, forming a curtain of rain. She was wearing a red dress that made her look like a red butterfly from a distance. She stood there with the butterfly before her, and seemed like she was going to follow the wind and rain into some place unknown. Red butterfly. A soft voice came from behind the woman. Inside the rain curtain, the soft rain was like a gentle mutter. As the water scattered, The sound of the wind fused with it and formed a wisp of dream that came from a previous life. The butterfly around Qinghong landed in her hand, and she gently gave it shelter from the rain and wind. It was as if she was the red butterfly, but it was unknown who in this world could shelter her from the same wind and rain. She turned around and saw a stranger in white under the oil paper umbrella. Red butterfly. That name is very beautiful. Qinghong looked at the white-haired youth and smiled. This smile was like a lonely rose in full bloom. If you'd like, you can become Red Butterfly. Wang Lin looked at the beautiful woman. What happened back on planet Suzaku appeared in his eyes. The woman smiled slightly but didn't speak. She looked at Wang Lin. Their gazes met in the rain and lingered for a long time. Qinghong looked at Wang Lin and softly said, I met you in my dream. When I became a third-step cultivator, I met you in my dream. Do you believe in reincarnation? Wang Lin's gaze moved from the woman to the rain falling from the sky. Do you believe in it? The woman questioned back. Wang Lin's voice stopped, and after a long time he nodded. I believe in it. The woman turned to look at the rain and softly said, If even white-haired Ascendant Empyrean believes it, then I also believe it. I always felt like I was waiting for someone to give me an answer. When I reached the third step, I knew the person I was waiting for was you. Reincarnation, I always wondered if I had a previous life. Otherwise, why would I like red or butterflies? I also thought about why I would like something. It doesn't come from thin air. And if it's not this life, it's the previous life. I was called Red Butterfly in my previous life, correct? The woman didn't turn her head and her voice was calm. However, in my dreams of my previous life, there was another previous life. In that life, I also saw you. Wang Lin was startled. Qinghong looked at the horizon as she said, In that lifetime, I remember you asking me a question that I only got the answer to now. Do you want to hear it? Wang Lin silently pondered for a moment and said, What question did I ask you? Do you want to keep your current life's memory or restore your previous life's memory? Qinghong turned around and looked at Wang Lin. In her beautiful eyes there was a light Wang Lin could not see through. Qinghong sounded emotional as she softly muttered, A past life and the current life can coexist, but once the memories of the past are restored, the current life gains a lot of baggage. If it's not restored, then I won't know, and if I know, I can't forget it. That is my understanding. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with confusion as he looked at the woman before him and asked, How did you answer me then? Qinghong's expression was complicated as she whispered, Forget the past and only remember now. If I continue to persist time and time again, it will bring pain and confusion. I understand. Wang Lin let out a sigh. He knew that Red Butterfly remembered something, but what she had said about the life before the previous life caused Wang Lin's heart to tremble. He thought about the dream Tao on planet Suzaku, where it was also in the curtain of rain that a woman appeared before him holding a baby girl. There was a red butterfly in the rain curtain, finding shelter from the rain under a leaf. As the woman was thinking of a name for the baby girl, he muttered the words, Red Butterfly. Wang Lin silently pondered as he turned and walked into the distance. I have already forgotten a lot about that life. I only remember you in this question. And another. He said something to you. I still remember that line. Qinghong closed her eyes and her voice was soft. What line? Wang Lin didn't pause as he walked into the rain. Heart's dead, already forgotten. Inside the rain, Wang Lin's body trembled and he suddenly turned around. He was filled with shock. This shock came from his soul. The oil paper umbrella in his hand fell on the ground and was soaked in the rain. Emoji. Planet Suzaku appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. When he was a low-level cultivator, it was also during a rainy night that he met a bald man whose eyes were filled with confusion. He looked at Wang Lin and said one line. This rain is born in the sky and dies on the earth. The process in between is life. Heart's dead, already forgotten. These words echoed in Wang Lin's mind, and the gaze of the bald man appeared clearly in his mind. Wang Lin could not understand it before, but looking back now he could clearly feel the pain and sorrow. Wang Lin left with confusion and the answer he wasn't willing to think about. Qinghong looked at where Wang Lin had gone and stood there for a long time. It wasn't until the rain had disappeared that she opened her hands. The butterfly circled her a few times before flying off into the distance. When will you forget? Perhaps you would never choose this. Qing Hong lowered her head and walked into her cave, lonely and crestfallen. Wang Lin silently pondered. Reincarnation. When I unlocked the memories of the people in reincarnation, I didn't wonder if I'm also in a reincarnation. If I'm really inside a reincarnation cycle, then who will unlock my memories? When Wang Lin thought of this, he laughed and continued to laugh until tears fell. Reincarnation, this is reincarnation. But even if I'm inside a reincarnation, I'll never choose to forget? Never. Wang Lin laughed. He suddenly thought of the figure that was roaring at the sky that he saw during his ancient Tao 3 soul splits. The words from that figure echoed in his ears once more. Heaven and earth. What's the point of being at the top of the heavens and earth? What's the point of being worshipped by all? What's the point of passing endless scriptures? If the world is like this, why not destroy it? If all life is like this, why not disappear? If the scriptures are like this, why not end it? Since it's like this, I'll use my own method to make the sky close its eyes, to make the earth sleep, to make the underworld river flow backwards, to make reincarnation stop, to make the world no longer exist. Wang Lin muttered these words as they echoed in his ears. This voice grew louder and louder until the sky shook, the earth trembled, and a storm was set off on the immortal astral continent. At the celestial clan's eastern continent, in the southwest part of the Linhua continent, there was a large city. This city looked like a giant beast laying there and gave off a majestic aura. In a remote location of the city, there was a blacksmith shop. Business here was good enough for the family to live well. This was because the owner of the shop treated his work very seriously and had gained a good reputation over the years. The master was a burly man who looked to be around 30 years ago. He was very strong and his upper body was exposed as he hammered the iron. Sounds of metal colliding came from the shop. The backyard of the shop was where the family lived. The burly man had a beautiful wife and an 8-year-old daughter. The little girl was in the shop and didn't mind the heat. She would often bring the man towels to wipe away the sweat. Whenever that happened, the burly man would reveal a happy smile. He was very satisfied with his current life. Although it was simple, he was very content with his lovely daughter and loving life. He wanted to do his best for his family, to make their lives better and his daughter's future better. In order to achieve this goal, he worked hard as a blacksmith and did everything seriously. His life was simple, but there was a warmth he cherished. He had been born in this city and had a lot of playmates he had grown up with. Although they all had their own families, they would often drink together, laugh together, and recall the past together. At night, when he was asleep, he would have a dream. In the dream, he swept across the world. He seemed to be a celestial emperor who led people to fight against his enemies. In the dream, there was separation, blood, and sorrow. In the dream, he also had a daughter named Shuang, the same name as his current daughter. However, this dream was not real. Whenever he woke up from the dream, he would look lost and look out the window at the night sky. His heart desired for everything in the dream, but when he looked at his sleeping wife and his 8-year-old daughter, who still didn't dare to sleep alone, he would smile and forget everything about the dream. If he had a choice, he would choose his own family and not the life in his dream. He didn't know that there was someone looking at him from the night sky as he looked at his family. Wang Lin looked at the blacksmith's family. He could feel Qing Lin's happiness and satisfaction. Qing Lin was a celestial emperor in the cave world, and now he had been reincarnated as a mortal, but he had obtained happiness and warmth. Wang Lin was very envious as he looked at Qing Lin, and after a long time he left. Like Red Butterfly, his choice is to forget the past, forget his previous life and become immersed in his current life, going through the cycle again and again and cherishing each time. Their choices are the right ones. My choice is also the right one. Wang Lin muttered to himself. Wang Lin found all the old friends beside Li Qianmei and Qing Shui. He either released their memories or allowed them to choose to forget. Wang Lin had nothing to tie him to the immortal astral continent anymore. Before going to the heavenly bull continent, he went to see Zhou Yi and Qing Shuang once more. From far away, he saw Zhou Yi's happy smile. Wang Lin smiled as well. He felt happy for Zhou Yi. The thousands of years of bitter love was now complete. When Wang Lin saw this, he took out a jug of wine and drank a big mouthful. This was wine he had gotten from Situnan, and was a substitute for Zhou and Qing wedding wine. He also went to the ancestral city, and there he saw Haizi. However, he only looked from a distance and left. The Heavenly Bull continent, the place he first appeared in when he came out of the cave world. After so many years, he was now back again. He walked on this familiar continent, passing by the Great Soul sect and the Guei sect. The familiar scenes made him remember the past. At the center of the Heavenly Bull continent, where the mountain range extend endlessly, Wang Lin silently looked at the earth below. Wang Lin looked at the earth below and slowly said, "Heavenly Bull, back then, your soul armor helped me through several crises. I, Wang Lin, always repay those that help me. Today, I'll release the celestial ancestor's soul and let you regain your freedom. But your body has already become the earth and can't be recovered. I'll release the soul on your seal and let it form an origin soul so you can leave the immortal astral continent. Are you willing?" His voice was not loud and didn't spread in all directions, but as his words echoed, the earth began to tremble. Thunderous rumbles echoed as an earth aura rushed out and a giant shadow appeared above the mountain range. The shadow was a heavenly bull, and its body was very large. It looked like it could support the world. Wang Lin looked extremely small before it, but the huge heavenly bull revealed a respectful expression as it knelt before Wang Lin. "Thanks. I'm willing." A buzzing sound echoed, and it was filled with excitement and longing. It had been sealed for far too long and made the heavenly bull filled with endless gratitude toward Wang Lin. "No need to thank me. You helped me before, and I'm merely repaying you." Wang Lin looked at the heavenly bull and pointed at it. The heavenly bull trembled and revealed a painful expression. A large amount of runes appeared around his body, and the lines of the runes seemed to take root in the heavenly bull's body. The lines of the runes all connected to form a heart-like object. It was constantly beating. This was the core of the seal of the heavenly bull. Looking at the heart-like object made of lines, Wang Lin pointed at it. All the runes around the heavenly bull collapsed. After they collapsed, the heart-like object inside the heavenly bull suddenly shrank. A moment later, when it was only the size of a fingernail, it turned into a ray of ghostly light and flew out of the heavenly bull. It landed in Wang Lin's hand and he crushed it. The heavenly bull's soul let out a roar at the sky, and then it turned into ripples that echoed across the sky. Its soul shot into the sky, and when it was at the edge of the world, it turned around. It knelt toward Wang Lin once more and then disappeared like a meteor. After the heavenly bull's soul left, the heavenly bull continent seemed different, but this was really difficult to detect. Wang Lin looked at where the heavenly bull had disappeared and walked toward the Seven Dao sect. Seven Dao sect, the location of the cave world. The mountain was surrounded by fog, making it so one couldn't see too far. It was completely deserted, and no one had been there in a long time. However, there was a figure below the mountain looking up. This was a middle-aged man in blue. He was looking at the fog and could vaguely see the ruins behind it. The man revealed a complicated expression and muttered to himself, "Seven Dao sect. I have finally arrived here." The middle-aged man bitterly shook his head and walked up the broken road. He walked very slowly, as if he wanted to remember every blade of grass and tree. After he penetrated the fog and arrived at the top of the mountain, he saw the Seven Dao sect's pavilions. The man's eyes were filled with confusion. He looked at everything before him for a long time before he let out a sigh. He walked through the broken sect until he arrived at the huge stone door in the back mountain. The door was connected to the mountain and was completely sealed. There was moss growing on it, creating the smell of decay. The middle-aged man closed his eyes before the stone gate. When he opened his eyes again, he looked at the door and bitterly muttered to himself, "The cave world's gate. Behind the gate is the cave world. I reincarnated from there." The man sighed. After regaining his memories of his previous life, he left his sect. He followed a feeling he had to arrive here. He arrived at the Seven Dao sect, before the gate to the cave world. His body trembled slightly as he closed in on the gate and gently touched it. After a long time, he revealed a determined gaze and turned around to leave. But just as he turned, he suddenly stopped. Behind him, he saw a smiling Wang Lin in white. Wang Lin whispered, "Senior brother." Wang Lin. The middle-aged man was Qing Shui. After he recovered his memories, the mark on him had become very faint. If more time passed, it would dissipate completely. Xianxia looked at Wang Lin and began to laugh. His laughter became louder and louder as joy filled his heart. He walked up to hug Wang Lin, and Wang Lin laughed as well. They sat down before the gate, and Wang Lin took out wine to drink with Xianxia. They forgot about the passage of time. They drank as they talked about each other's experiences. They smiled but also shed tears. This pair of apprentice brothers from the cave world reunited at the cave world. When Wang Lin brought up the matter with Red Butterfly, Xianxia was startled. He bitterly drank a large mouthful of wine. The matters of the past, if they're forgotten, then let them be forgotten. Since coming to the immortal astral continent, everyone can make their own decision. However, my choice is to not forget. Perhaps there is a method for me to revive Han Yen here. There must be. Xianxia muttered to himself. Not even Wang Lin could revive someone who had been dead for so long, and whose soul no longer even existed. However, Wang Lin didn't tell Xianxia this. If there was not even hope, then perhaps only despair remained. When the early morning sun penetrated through the fog, Xianxia left. Since he had chosen not to forget, then he naturally didn't want to return to the cave world. He just wanted to come see the Seven Dao sect where the cave world was. Now that he had fulfilled his wish and met Wang Lin, he was full of joy. Next, he was going to pursue his dream. Even if it took him a lifetime, even if it took many reincarnation cycles, he would still persist. Wang Lin watched Xianxia walk into the distance and disappear. He then stood before the gate and revealed a complicated expression. Out of all the old friends, only 13 had chosen to follow Wang Lin back into the cave world. For 13, following his teacher was the only thing he wanted. The others had their own responsibilities. Many of them had chosen to forget their previous lives and start anew. Wang Lin opened the gate to the cave world. When the gate opened, a powerful light shined, and he disappeared into the light. The gate closed once more. The Seven Dao sect was still surrounded by fog. It was a ruin that no one cared about. Cave world. The barrier between the inner and outer realms was very strong. In these hundreds of years, the outer realm had launched a shocking attack but didn't have the power to break in. Wang Lin's name had already become a legend in the cave world, an unreal existence. Many people remembered him, but even more people had forgotten him. Even the cultivators of the inner realm were the same. Only the statue on planet Suzaku, a holy land, remained, and his legends would occasionally be brought up. Aside from this place, there was another place where the story of Wang Lin continued. That was the new celestial realm. A large amount of cultivators had migrated from the 4 major star systems to the new celestial realm created by Wang Lin. Most were cultivators who had survived the war against the outer realm. Many of them had seen Wang Lin, and some had even seen Wang Lin battle in the war. Mu Bingmei hadn't left. She had chosen to stay in the cave world, stay in the new celestial realm. She was waiting for a certain someone to return one day. Dao Master Blue Dream also hadn't left. As the strongest person of the new celestial realm, he remained to protect it. There were people like Master South Cloud, who had also chosen not to leave. However, at this moment the new celestial realm was very gloomy. It was as if a dark cloud was looming over them, making the cultivators of the new celestial realm remain silent. Dao Master Blue Dream was seriously injured. Master South Cloud's body had collapsed. Only his origin soul remained. The sky of the celestial realm was blood red, and there were flashes of shadows revealing ferocious expressions. It was as if there was a large amount of ghosts inside the blood color. Teacher gave you all 5 days to choose. Now 3 days have passed and only 2 days remain. I hope you all will choose wisely and join my Scarlet Soul sect. Otherwise, die. In the blood-red sky, there was a young man dressed in a red robe. He spoke gloomily to the many cultivators below. As for you, Mu Bingmei, you only have 2 days left. In 2 days, once the formation around the new celestial realm is broken, either you become my Dao partner or I'll slaughter planet Suzaku and destroy that whatever person named Lin's statue. Master South Cloud only had his origin soul left as he stared at the young man in the blood light. As he listened to the young man talk, he let out a laugh filled with sorrow. 2 days. Ever since the celestial realm was created by Wang Lin, all the people that have lived here were survivors of the war against the outer realm. There is a saying in the inner realm, have you heard it? Master South Cloud roared. and all the cultivators suddenly looked up. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight. The voices of the cultivators formed a sound wave and blasted into the air. It blew away some of the blood light, revealing tens of thousands of blood-robed figures. Behind those figures was a dense blood mist. The blood mist seemed to churn, and a person was sitting inside. "Old fellow, you're courting death. When the formation is broken in 2 days, this young lord will ask teacher to give me your origin soul. I want to experience what the origin soul of a third-step cultivator tastes like." The young man's expression changed and there was a flash of killing intent in his eyes. Master South Cloud roared, "What is there to fear about death? The creator of the celestial realm, Wang Lin, will come back one day. When he comes back, I want to see how a mere Scarlet Soul sect and Master Scarlet Soul will resist." Beside Master South Cloud sat Dao Master Blue Dream. His face was pale and he was cultivating to recover. Wang Lin? Fortunately, that person is gone. Otherwise, he would be a mere ant before teacher. The formation around the celestial realm was set by Wang Lin, but it's going to be broken by teacher anyways. If not for the fact that teacher wants the celestial realm to remain whole, teacher would have crushed the entire place already. The youth sneered. This was just a shadow, not his body. As he laughed, his figure disappeared into the blood light. The formation Wang Lin had set up around the celestial realm was covered in bloodlight, which was corroding the formation. Most of it was already broken, and it would only be 2 more days before it was completely broken. Tens of thousands of blood-colored figures were floating like puppets outside the celestial realm. They released large amounts of red mist that entered the blood-colored light. Behind these figures, there was a large cloud of blood-colored mist, and sitting inside the mist was an old man in a red robe. Even his hair was red. His hands were forming seals, constantly sending out runes to make the formation around the celestial realm break even faster. This Wang Lin indeed had some skills. The restrictions he set will take me a few days to break. This restriction is also bizarre and contains a trace of a terrifying aura. I feel like there would be a shocking change if I used my full force to break it. However, as long as I don't break it by force and invade with the blood mist instead, it will be safe. Fortunately, there isn't a lot of this aura. Otherwise, it would be even more difficult to break the formation. The red-haired old man was Master Scarlet Soul. Back then, when Wang Lin had faced the Sovereign's life or death trap, Wang Lin had released a soul sealed by Yemo. The soul had broken free from the trap and escaped. Now he had recovered his cultivation and obtained a body. After Wang Lin had been gone for many years, he created the Scarlet Soul sect. He had used his powerful cultivation to seriously injure Dao Master Blue Dream. Then he destroyed Master South Cloud's body. He stared at the earth of the celestial realm and revealed a cruel expression. Almost all the powerful people of the inner realm are concentrated here at the celestial realm. Before my cultivation recovered, I wasn't confident in breaking the formation, but now the formation will break in 2 days. All these people will become my food, and after devouring their blood essence, my cultivation level will increase to Golden Exalt. Haha, once I become a Golden Exalt, even when I return to the immortal astral continent, I can become the head elder of a sect and will even have a chance to become an Empyrean Exalt. Master Scarlet Soul's eyes were filled with excitement. He knew that there were very few Empyrean Exalts on the immortal astral continent, only a few hundred at the most. Once he became an Empyrean Exalt, he could follow a Grand Empyrean. And at that time, as a cultivator who followed one of the Grand Empyreans, he would be famous across the immortal astral continent. If I follow one of the 5 Grand Empyreans, I could definitely choose the Celestial Emperor. Unfortunately, there are many powerful people under the Celestial Emperor and he might not want me. However, even if I can't follow the Celestial Emperor, I can still follow Grand Empyrean Dao Yi. Grand Empyrean Dao Yi cares a lot about Empyrean Exalts, so if I wish it, he will definitely accept me. With Grand Empyrean Dao Yi's protection, even if that Wang Lin finds out about this, I won't be afraid. If his cultivation level is lower, I'll absorb all his blood essence and make myself stronger. If his cultivation level is similar to or higher than mine, although it's not likely, I'll still have Grand Empyrean Dao Yi's protection. I don't believe he would dare to not yield before Grand Empyrean Dao Yi. Perhaps his heart will tremble, and he will kneel and worship the moment he sees Grand Empyrean Dao Yi. After all, before Grand Empyreans, all cultivators are mere ants. This Master Scarlet Soul had considered future matters very careful. After making sure nothing could go wrong, he laughed loudly. Teacher. As he laughed, there was another person sitting in the blood mist beside him. It was a young man, and at this moment the young man opened his eyes. The young man respectfully bowed at Master Scarlet Soul. He was the shadow that had spoken to the people in the celestial realm. Master Scarlet Soul laughed and looked at the youth beside him. This youth was someone he had met in the cave world that was very suited to become his disciple. The youth's talent was very good, and most interestingly, he had found him on planet Suzaku. This youth was said to be Wang Lin's descendant after an unknown amount of generations. The youth revealed a cruel smile and respectfully said, Teacher, they still haven't given up. They are still sending out cultivators to reinforce the formation. In particular, that Master South Cloud is despicable. Teacher, after you break the formation, give me Master South Cloud's soul so disciple can torture him properly. A mere Master South Cloud, I'll give him to you. Master Scarlet Soul was very pleased when he saw his disciple's cruel expression. He wanted a disciple like this. Master Scarlet Soul slowly said, But that Mu Bingmei. The young man respectfully said, If teacher wants that woman, disciple will offer her with both hands. She is the ancestor's lover. Master Scarlet Soul revealed a mocking expression. He found this very interesting. He even wondered what expression Wang Lin would make if he learned about this in the future. The youth respectfully said, So what? Although disciple is named Wang, Wang Lin has left the cave world, and whether he is dead or alive is unknown. Since he left his lover behind, might as well let me enjoy her to resolve my loneliness. Isn't that what teacher always tells me? Yemo is dead, but since you've obtained his inheritance, Wang Lin, you can inherit my hatred as well. Master Scarlet Soul laughed, and there was a flash of viciousness in his eyes. Master Scarlet Soul smiled and said, There is no need. This Mu Bingmei is someone teacher personally chose for you, so how could teacher rob her from you? However, teacher is going to play with her for a bit. Once I'm tired of her, I'll naturally give her to you. As it should be. Thank you, teacher. The youth nodded with a smile. Okay, let's wait 2 more days. Master Scarlet Soul's eyes lit up and his hands formed seals. The blood mist churned as the tens of thousands of blood puppets released even stronger blood-colored light. This made the formation around the celestial realm even weaker. At this moment, as Master Scarlet Soul continued to use the bloodlight to corrode the formation in the celestial realm, there was a woman in white standing on a tall peak. This woman was an absolute beauty. Forget the cave world. Not even anyone on the immortal astral continent could compare to her beauty. Her beauty almost didn't seem to belong to this world. The wind blew, carrying the smell of blood. It lifted her hair and revealed a breathtakingly beautiful face that was very calm at this moment. However, deep inside this calmness, there was a trace of confusion and bitterness others could not see. She used her strong determination as a shell to wrap the bitterness and confusion deep inside her heart. Your Holiness! Behind her stood an old man. He looked at the woman before him anxiously. The formation can last 2 more days at most. Mu Bingmei looked at the sky and softly said, I know. Let me have some time alone. The old man hesitated before he let out a sigh and retreated. Mu Bingmei was the only one left on the mountain. She silently stood there and raised her right hand, and in her hand was a crystal sword. It was something Wang Lin had left with her. It was formed by his essences and contained his ancient aura. If I'm still alive, I'll greet you, Mu Bingmei muttered. This what she had said to Wang Lin when he left. If I'm no longer alive. Mu Bingmei's eyes were filled with sorrow. She looked at the sword in her hand and tears formed. Wang Lin, where are you? Mu Bingmei's tears fell and landed on the crystal sword. They created a soft sound and flowed down the blade. As Mu Bingmei muttered this, there was a flash of light in the calm and dark space in the direction of all heaven. The light turned into a gate and a person walked out. White robe, white hair. Wang Lin. This place is. Wang Lin looked around and revealed a smile. All heaven. His smile revealed joy from his heart. The familiar aura here allowed him to know that he was home. His divine sense subconsciously spread out in all directions. I wonder what the celestial realm is like. Have there been any big changes since I left? Those old friend and Wang Lin muttered, but his words suddenly stopped. He stared at the direction of the celestial realm, and the smile on his face was replaced by intense coldness and monstrous killing intent. This was the first full eruption of his killing intent after becoming the strongest person on the immortal astral continent. Master Scarlet Soul. Wang Lin let out a cold snort. Right now, he clearly noticed everything that was going on outside the celestial realm. He saw Master Scarlet Soul's face and the youth, from whom he vaguely felt some bloodline connection to. He also saw the formation outside the celestial realm being corroded by the bloodlight. Seeing how much the formation was corroded, it should dissipate in about 2 days. When Master Scarlet Soul was released by Wang Lin, although he was weak, he was still too powerful for Wang Lin. Now he had recovered to his peak, but before Wang Lin, he was as weak as an ant. This ant was someone he could crush countless times with the point of his finger. With a cold snort, Wang Lin stepped forward and disappeared from all heaven. After he disappeared, the gate made of light disappeared as if it had never been there. When Wang Lin reappeared, he didn't appear near Master Scarlet Soul, but in the familiar celestial realm. No one in the celestial realm noticed his arrival. There was no need to talk about Master Scarlet Soul outside. The sky of the celestial realm was no longer blue like before, but blood red. It was very heavy and suppressing. However, aside from the color of the sky, the pavilions, mountains, and rivers sketched out the beauty of the celestial realm. Compared to when Wang Lin left, some places were familiar, but other places were completely unfamiliar. Looking around, Wang Lin waved his right hand. 3 rays of light appeared, revealing 3 people before Wang Lin. It was Su Ligua, Lu Jinbiao, and the only disciple to follow Wang Lin back into the cave world, 13. 13 was not ordinary. When he looked around and saw the red mist, he was confused for a moment but soon recovered. He bowed at Wang Lin and silently stood beside him. For him, whether it was the immortal astral continent or the cave world, as long as he could be with his teacher, there was no difference. Compared to him, Lu Jinbiao and Su Ligua both had strange expressions. After looking around, they both looked at each other with mischievous eyes. Wang Lin could see that the two of them felt very proud and lofty. It was like someone feeling extremely proud when they returned to their hometown from a bigger place. It was clearly written on their faces that, "See, I went to the immortal astral continent. In that place, I'm the boss." Wang Lin looked at the sky and said, "We are home, you guys can do as you will. I'm going to see some old friends." Then he flew away with one step. When Wang Lin entered the celestial realm, he had already swept everyone with his divine sense. He saw a lot, including Mu Bingmei. Mu Bingmei was standing on the mountain, seeming as if she was going to be blown away with the wind. She bit her lower lip, and after a long time she let out a sigh. She stroked the crystal sword in her hand and revealed a look of absolute determination, as if she had made some kind of decision. She clenched the sword in her hand as she looked at the blood-colored sky and turned to leave. However, when she turned, Mu Bingmei was completely shocked. Her eyes were filled with disbelief as she looked at the figure behind her that was looking at her. It was a young man wearing white with a head of white hair. There was a sense of familiarity in this unfamiliar figure. The two of them looked at each other under this blood-colored sky, with the mountain as the background, the wind as music, and the sky as the base that held everything together. As Wang Lin looked at the familiar yet unfamiliar woman, he felt complicated. This complicated feeling had accompanied him for a long time. The Hangyu sect appeared before his eyes, along with the bright young girl. Then in the Suzaku tomb, that suffocatingly beautiful figure. This figure changed again and again. To the moment at the all-heaven star system, to Wang Ping's bitter roar, until it fixed on the moment that Wang Lin left the cave world. He saw his memories like a painting. On that day, a light shower rained down on the celestial realm. In the rain, a woman in white drifted over like a willow leaf. In the rain, there was a beautiful woman with an umbrella. She had long black hair and looked like a painting of an otherworldly being. Her arrival made the world quiet, and only the sound of the rain remained. There was a strange force in the air that seemed to make one forget about everything but the beautiful figure in the hazy mist of rain. "If I'm still alive, I'll return." Wang Lin looked at the woman before him. Her figure overlapped with his memory and slowly melted in his heart. Mu Bingmei didn't dare to believe what she was seeing. She was completely startled. In a trance, Wang Lin's white-haired figure became even more profound, until it fused with her memory and also melted in her heart. In an instant, she seemed to see the Hung Yu sect from thousands of years ago. Among the many people, there was only one youth who hadn't become obsessed because of her beauty. She saw the figure that was stopped by her in the Suzaka tomb and coldly stared at her. And in all heaven, the man who let out a miserable roar after learning that her avatar had died, and his gaze filled with sorrow. In the end, the images before her stopped at the moment when the man left the cave world. Rain fell on that day, giving off a parting feeling. In the rain, Wang Lin's figure was very strange, to the point of making her heart ache. As her heart ached, she saw his indifferent expression become soft. She knew that this was because they were parting ways and that perhaps he would not come back. "If I'm still alive, I'll greet you." Mu Bingmei bit her lower lip as tears flowed down from the corners of her eyes. After Wang Lin left the cave world, she had never been this vulnerable. Wang Lin looked at the beautiful woman and revealed a gentle smile. He let out a sigh as he walked up to Mu Bingmei, and they looked at the blood-colored sky together. Wang Lin softly said, "After leaving the cave world, while I was on the immortal astral continent, there was something I always wanted to say. Now that I'm back, there is someone to listen." Mu Bingmei nodded. Her heart was throbbing. She still found it difficult to believe and didn't know what to say. After hearing Wang Lin's words, she became extremely nervous. This kind of thing was extremely rare for someone as strong-willed as her, who was once the saintess of the brilliant void realm and was now the saintess of the celestial realm. It was as if aside from Wang Lin, no other man could make her feel panic like right now. Perhaps if there was someone else it would be Wang Ping. Her right hand gripped the sword and her left hand unconsciously clenched the corner of her clothes. Her fingers were pale. "Lu Mei." Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the blood-colored sky and gently spoke to Mu Bingmei. "Don't say it, I don't want to listen." Mu Bingmei's body trembled and she instantly turned pale. The sword in her hand fell as she retreated. At this moment she looked so helpless and fragile, as if a gust of wood could blow her away. Her face revealed sorrow and along with the tears, revealed a show of weakness that was breathtaking. "I don't want to listen. Wang Lin, I don't want to listen." Even more tears appeared from the corners of Mu Bingmei's eyes. The tears flowed down her cheeks and fell on her clothes. Wang Lin looked at Mu Bingmei, at her fragile appearance and the confusion in her helpless gaze. He let out a sigh. "Aside from meeting old friends, I came back this time to settle the matter between us. I have found a way to resurrect Wang Er, and once I leave I'm going to resurrect her." Tears flowed down from Mu Bingmei's eyes. With how smart she was, how could she not know what Wang Lin wanted to say? Her pale face revealed a bitter expression. "Lu Mei, let the past be the past. I am also responsible for the mistake back then. Let's leave our memories to the dust. You told me you wanted to see Wang Ping." Wang Lin looked down at Mu Bingmei and softly said, "I came back this time to resolve the matter in your heart. Wang Ping needs a mother. I'll perform my dream Tao where you, me, and Ping Er will complete a reincarnation cycle to the end. This will let Ping Er see his mother, let you have no regrets, and let me have no regrets either." Mu Bingmei silently pondered. After a long time, she wiped away her tears and looked at Wang Lin with a complicated gaze as she nodded. "You'll accompany me for a lifetime, 100 years, in the dream world to resolve everything. So now you're my husband, right?" Mu Bingmei muttered. Wang Lin closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he nodded. Mu Bingmei revealed a smile. It was a smile with tears. She gently walked up to Wang Lin, hugged him and fell into his arms. Wang Lin gently hugged Mu Bingmei. The fragrance coming from her body was intoxicating. This was the first time they had truly embraced, the first time they had put down all complex feelings to spend 100 years to resolve this wrong or ill-fated relationship. The two of them hugged on the mountain under the blood-colored sky and time gradually passed. After one day, the blood color in the sky became even stronger. At this point, thin cracks appeared on the formation, signaling that it was ready to collapse. Wang Lin left the mountain with Mu Bingmei. Master South Cloud saw Wang Lin. Tao Master Blue Dream also saw Wang Lin. In the celestial realm, everyone who had met Wang Lin saw the white-haired and white-robed figure, the Lord of the Seal Realm. Although some of the cultivators that had entered the celestial realm later hadn't seen Wang Lin, they had heard many rumors around him. Now that they were seeing him, the entire celestial realm seemed to boil up. The feelings of suppression and panic instantly disappeared. Master South Cloud only had his origin soul, and with Wang Lin's current cultivation level, he could gather the power of the world to make him a new body. Master South Cloud could fuse with this body and feel no discomfort. Dao Master Blue Dream hesitated as he looked at Wang Lin, but he didn't speak. He was waiting for Wang Lin to condense a new body for Master South Cloud before he tried to speak, but in the end, he let out a sigh. Wang Lin smiled and greeted all the familiar people. He also saw Su Ligua and Lu Jinbiao pulling some cultivators and talking about something. The finger-long sea dragon on Lu Jinbiao's shoulder looked very bored. When a cultivator tried to touch it, it bared its teeth and the cultivator laughed. 13 still liked to be alone. He was sitting not far away and could occasionally open his eyes to look at Wang Lin respectfully. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and walked toward Dao Master Blue Dream alone. Dao Master Blue Dream's face was still pale. It was clear that his earlier injuries were very serious. Wang Lin pointed at Dao Master Blue Dream. The power of the world gathered and rushed into Dao Master Blue Dream's body, causing his injuries to rapidly recover. A moment later, Dao Master Blue Dream's face was no longer pale. He took a deep breath and nodded at Wang Lin. Dao Master Blue Dream slowly asked, "Is my daughter doing well?" Wang Lin silently pondered and sat down before Dao Master Blue Dream. Seeing Wang Lin's expression, Dao Master Blue Dream's heart fell and his face turned pale once more. "What happened? Wang Lin, tell me." "I could not find her after she reincarnated," Wang Lin said bitterly. Although he was the strongest person on the immortal astral continent, he was still respectful to Dao Master Blue Dream because he had helped in the past and was Li Qianmei's father. Dao Master Blue Dream closed his eyes and muttered to himself, "Didn't find her. She went to the immortal astral continent because of you and you didn't find her." "Didn't find her?" Dao Master Blue Dream opened his eyes and began to laugh. This laughter was filled with disappointment and anger. Just at this moment, a rumble came from the blood-colored sky. The many cracks in the sky showed signs of collapsing and an arrogant laughter came from above. All you cave world cultivators stubbornly resisted, thinking this formation could block this old man. Now the formation is about to be broken. Just wait for this old man to come in, and all of you will become food for my cultivation. The voice was weak at the beginning, but as it continued, it became like a thunderous rumble that echoed across the celestial realm. Everyone looked up at the sky. No one at the celestial realm knew Wang Lin's specific cultivation level, but since Wang Lin could appear here without Master Scarlet Soul, knowing that meant that his cultivation level was not average. However, no one knew whether Wang Lin could defeat Master Scarlet Soul. Master South Cloud's expression was relaxed. He was not worried at all. From how Wang Lin could a new body for him with a casual wave of his hand, he knew how powerful Wang Lin was. In particular, when he saw the contempt in Su Ligua and Lu Jinbiao's eyes, and that even the small snake on Lu Jinbiao's shoulder had the same expression, he was certain of his speculation. Not far away, 13 looked at the sky with an indifferent expression, but there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. Her mark disappeared, so she should have recovered her memories. "I looked for a long time but I couldn't find her. However, I can feel that she is somewhere on the immortal astral continent, and now I'm searching for her." Wang Lin ignored the rumble from the sky as he looked at Dao Master Blue Dream and spoke bitterly. "As long as she reveals a hint of her aura, I can detect her. Even though I have returned to the cave world, I can still sense her aura," Wang Lin murmured. Li Qianmei was special to him. Although she wasn't the same as Li Muwen, she was the second woman to walk into his heart. However, I can feel that she is intentionally avoiding me and doesn't want me to find her. Wang Lin closed his eyes. His heart felt very painful. This pain was not as strong as missing Li Muwen, but it was still heart-wrenching. He still remembered the words Li Qianmei had muttered to him with an indescribable emotion. "Wang Lin, don't understand feelings." Looking at Wang Lin's face and listening to his words, Dao Master Blue Dream silently pondered. He knew what Wang Lin was feeling, and he understood his own daughter. The sky rumbled and began to collapse on a wide scale, revealing a hole. The blood color spread as more holes appeared and laughter echoed across the entire celestial realm. The sky collapsed and countless cracks appeared. After several days, Master Scarlet's soul had finally corroded an opening in the formation. The formation continued to fall, and soon the celestial realm would have no protection. This laughter was filled with arrogance and sounded heaven-shattering. Blood figures flew out from the hole and filled the sky. The blood figures were those puppets. They appeared in the sky and stared at the people below with indifferent expressions. As the blood figures appeared, a youth wearing red walked out of the hole. He looked arrogant and was filled with killing intent. After he appeared, his voice echoed across the world. "Your weak formation was destroyed by my teacher. You lowly cultivators, I want to see how you will resist this time. Mu Bingmei, once my teacher has his fun with you, I'll let you know the difference between me and that Wang Lin." The youth laughed hysterically as he walked out. He looked down, but this caused his words to suddenly stop. He saw Master South Cloud sneering at him, and Master South Cloud had a body. He saw the beautiful Mu Bingmei. She was looking at him coldly, as if she was looking at a dead person. What shook his heart even more was the young man in white sitting before Dao Master Blue Dream. The youth didn't look at him directly, but when he saw this person, his body trembled. This person looked a bit familiar. He. The mind of the young man in red rumbled as if thunder had exploded in his mind. He could hardly believe his own eyes. This person looked exactly the same as the statue he had seen on planet Suzaku when he was young. Ancestor. He seemed to have gone crazy. He refused to believe that the person before him was his ancestor Wang Lin. However, the trembling in his soul clearly told him that the white-haired youth was planet Suzaku's ancestor, the lord of the sealed realm from back then, Wang Lin. So what if it really is him? He is not teacher's match. The young man's expression changed as took a deep breath. He subconsciously retreated and his eyes narrowed. Interesting, you actually found someone so similar. Do you think that with him? Before he could finish speaking, the white-haired youth in white looked up at him. Those eyes were completely calm, but they made his body tremble. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and calmly said, 13, kill him. Not far away, there was a flash of coldness in 13's eyes and he moved without hesitation. As he walked into the sky, he waved his right hand and smoke appeared. It was the extreme fire Dao of the 8 extreme Dao. For his disciple 13, Wang Lin had chosen spells that were suitable for him. He had also extracted power of the world to increase 13's cultivation level greatly. Others couldn't do this, but as someone who was half a step into the heaven trampling stage and was comparable to the ancient ancestor and celestial ancestor, this matter was not difficult. Under the gazes of the countless cultivators of the celestial realm, 13 flew up with an indifferent gaze. Smoke surrounded him, forming rings and created a raging fire in the sky. Under this raging fire, all the blood puppets collapsed without any power to resist. A miserable scream echoed from the sea of fire before 13 walked out holding a head filled with despair. The fire in the sky instantly disappeared after 13 left. The sky was still red, but it was a lot less intense. An old man was revealed to be at the hole of the formation, and he stared at Wang Lin dumbfoundedly. Wang Lin! The old man was filled with disbelief, but he soon turned fierce. His void turbulent cultivation suddenly erupted, causing the sky to shake and the earth to tremble. You actually came back to the cave world, but even though you came back, you're still an ant before this old man. The old man was Master Scarlet Soul. After he spoke, he flew like a ray of light toward Wang Lin. From his point of view, Wang Lin's cultivation was like a cloud of fog, but he thought Wang Lin had some treasures to hide his cultivation level. This kind of thing was common on the immortal astral continent. He was completely confident in his void turbulent cultivation. Wang Lin calmly watched Master Scarlet Soul charging at him. Before Wang Lin did anything, the small snake on Li Jinbiao's shoulder suddenly shined brightly and let out a heaven-shattering roar. The roar shook the world and caused the ears of all the celestial realm cultivators to rumble. Master Scarlet Soul's body trembled and he stopped as he stared below like a wooden chicken. This is... The little snake quickly flew up and rapidly expanded under the dumbfounded gazes of all the cultivators. It quickly recovered to its original size of a giant sea dragon. and roared at the startled Master Scarlet Soul. Gold! Golden! Exalt! Sea Dragon! Master Scarlet Soul felt like he was dreaming. Master Scarlet Soul came from the immortal astral continent, so he knew about cultivators far beyond the level of a cave world. Golden Exalts, Empyrean Exalts, Ascendant Empyreans, and the 9 peak existences on the immortal astral continent. The Grand Empyreans. On the immortal astral continent with his cultivation level, he would be very respectful if he met a Golden Exalt. After all, Golden Exalts were very powerful, and they were Grand Elder characters even in powerful sections. It could be said that the Golden Exalts determined the power of a sect. Master Scarlet Soul's dream was to become a Golden Exalt cultivator. He wanted to break the formation around the Celestial Realm for this goal. He wanted to devour the Celestial Realm and absorb their blood to make a breakthrough. However, he had just seen the small snake turn into a giant sea dragon. This made Master Scarlet Soul's mind go totally blank. The pressure from the sea dragon was enough to make the Celestial Realm tremble. Most people here felt their hearts tremble, and even wanted to worship the dragon. Golden Exalt. This is a Golden Exalt. Master Scarlet Soul's eyes were dull. He didn't dare to believe what he was seeing. A rare Golden Exalt existence. But this was a Golden Exalt beast, which was even more rare, and now one had appeared before him in the cave world. This absurd feeling almost drove Master Scarlet Soul insane. The Golden Exalt Sea Dragon moved and its eyes revealed a ferocious gaze. It stared at Master Scarlet Soul and let out a roar. This roar made Master Scarlet Soul's body tremble violently. His origin soul became unstable and he felt like it was going to collapse. This clearly told him that this sea dragon was a Golden Exalt existence. Master Scarlet Soul subconsciously retreated a few steps and sweat appeared on his forehead. He could not imagine why Wang Lin had a Golden Exalt sea dragon with him. This was already beyond his imagination. It felt like everything was just a dream. As he retreated, he suddenly thought of something. The appearance of the sea dragon didn't come from Wang Lin, but the shoulder of a cultivator with an otherworldly aura. It isn't that this Wang Lin is strong. There is no pressure or fluctuations coming from him. Although it is a treasure hiding his aura. Only those that are weak use this method to protect themselves. Since Wang Lin acts like this, his cultivation level must not be high. This sea dragon does not belong to him, but the otherworldly-looking cultivator. Wang Lin's cultivation level is not high, but he must be a good friend of this cultivator. He must have been afraid of being too weak on his trip back, so he asked a friend to come with him. And from the look of the otherworldly cultivator, his cultivation level is not high either. Then that means he must have a teacher who is an Empyrean Exalt on the immortal astral continent. This is the only explanation. Master Scarlet Soul's eyes lit up. He felt that this was the only logical explanation. As he retreated, the Golden Exalt Sea Dragon opened its mouth to devour him, and Master Scarlet Soul suddenly let out a roar. Fellow cultivator, please listen to me. The person he spoke to was not Wang Lin or the Sea Dragon, but Lu Jinbiao, who was watching from a distance with pride on his face. Fellow cultivator's teacher must an Empyrean Exalt on the immortal astral continent. With fellow cultivator's talent, you must be a direct disciple of the Empyrean Exalt. Otherwise, you won't have been gifted a Golden Exalt Sea Dragon. This is a private matter between Wang Lin and I, so I'd like to ask fellow cultivator to not participate in this matter. Afterward, I'll definitely thank fellow cultivator. Master Scarlet Soul had no other choice. Under the pressure of the Golden Exalt Sea Dragon, he didn't even have the courage to escape. Right now it was a matter of life or death, and he didn't have much time to think. Even though he knew that this person was here because of Wang Lin, and that it would be difficult to persuade him, he still had to try. Before I was sealed, I hid all my savings that I had collected for countless years in the Eastern continent. I only ask fellow cultivator to be forgiving and spare my life. Master Scarlet Soul's heart was tense as he stared at the sea dragon. He was extremely afraid and even his voice was trembling. Lu Jinbiao was startled. Wang Lin faintly smiled but didn't smile. Su Ligua, the sea dragon, and Master South Cloud and company were also startled. Su Ligua was startled for a moment and then suddenly began to laugh. Lu Jinbiao revealed a smile that wasn't a smile as he looked at Master Scarlet Soul, who was in despair. This old man's uncle master is Sun Shanqing, An Empyrean Exalt under Grand Empyrean Dao E. If you let this sea dragon kill me, my uncle master will certainly find out. I don't believe your teacher is willing to get on the bad side of another Empyrean Exalt. Master Scarlet Soul's face was pale and he revealed his fear toward death. Also, Grand Empyrean Dao E is very biased. If my uncle master pleads for help, you all will have to pay the price. Wang Lin, this is a price you can't bear. The entire cave world will be destroyed. You have been to the immortal astral continent, so you must know about the Grand Empyreans. If you let me leave, I will vow to no longer have any ideas about the celestial realm, and I will immediately leave the cave world. Master Scarlet Soul squealed. He believed that Wang Lin knew of the Grand Empyreans, so he was confident his words could play a deterrent role. When Lu Jinbiao heard this, he subconsciously looked at Wang Lin. This action made Master Scarlet Soul even more confident. Wang Lin's expression was a bit strange. He looked at Master Scarlet Soul, who was terrified enough to use any method to find a path to life, and smiled. Master Scarlet Soul quickly said, "And if you let this old man leave, I can beg Uncle Master to take you into the sect. Then you will also belong to someone under Grand Empyrean Dao E. Once your cultivation breaks through, you can do as you wish on the immortal astral continent." Dao E, Grand Empyrean. Wang Lin stood up and looked at Master Scarlet Soul. In his eyes, this person was an ant. The many cultivators in the celestial realm didn't really understand Wang Lin's cultivation. When they heard Master Scarlet Soul talk about the mysterious Grand Empyrean Dao E, just the name itself caused their hearts to tremble. Dao Master Blue Dream frowned but didn't speak. Master South Cloud also had a gloomy expression. His faith in Wang Lin's strength had wavered slightly. On the immortal astral continent, there were originally 9 Grand Empyreans. This Dao E is the weakest one, Wang Lin slowly said. His expression was still calm. Master Scarlet Soul's eyes lit up. He also knew this, and when he heard Wang Lin say this, he was even more certain that Wang Lin knew how incomparably powerful Grand Empyreans were. However, he was still a bit hesitant. Wang Lin's casual tone when talking about Grand Empyreans made Master Scarlet Soul feel like something bad was going to happen. However, even the weakest Grand Empyrean has the power to dominate all living things, Wang Lin slowly said. But at this moment, his tone suddenly changed. However, even if Dao came here personally, he would still have to immediately retreat when facing me. I fear he won't even dare to come see me. Wang Lin smiled. When Master Scarlet Soul heard these words, his eyes widened. He looked at Wang Lin as if Wang Lin had gone crazy. No one would dare to say such things. You really have guts. If you are really so brave, why don't you go to the immortal astral continent and say it to Grand Empyrean Dao E? Although Master Scarlet Soul was scared, but before such arrogant words, he still mocked Wang Lin. It doesn't need to be so troublesome. Wang Lin was in no rush. Since this Master Scarlet Soul had dared to break the formation around the celestial realm, simply killing him wouldn't appease Wang Lin's anger. Dao E, this person said that a person under you is his uncle master. Tell me if this is true. Wang Lin waved his right hand and a thunderous rumble echoed. The sea dragon quickly retreated and a giant vortex appeared above the celestial realm. The vortex opened a passage and broke the law around the immortal astral continent, forming a connection. On the immortal astral continent, Dao E had just returned from the vast basin, and the terrifying scene he had seen there was lingering in his mind. He didn't dare to believe it, but he knew everything was true. The strongest person on the immortal astral continent was no longer Guodao, but the person he was terrified of, Wang Lin. Just at this moment, the sky above the Dao E sect changed and the world changed colors. A vortex appeared and Wang Lin's voice echoed across the world. He was shocked to find that his body could not move, and that the divine sense coming from the vortex was emitting a strange force. He was being pulled toward the vortex. In the vortex he saw a strange continent, Wang Lin, and also heard Wang Lin's words. He even felt like he was on the border of life or death, and Wang Lin was in control. It was as if Wang Lin only needed but a thought to kill him. In the celestial realm of the cave world, Master Scarlet Soul looked at the vortex that had appeared above. He felt a terrifying aura that made him tremble coming from the vortex. He had felt this aura before from afar. It was Grand Empyrean Dao E. This is impossible. Impossible. There is no Empyrean exalt under me that knows this person. Please, I plead Lord Wang. To not be angry. Dao Yi's bitter voice came from inside the vortex. The look of respect and fear was clearly seen by Master Scarlet Soul. Fake. This is fake. This is impossible. Master Scarlet Soul felt like he was going crazy. He couldn't believe any of this. Master Scarlet Soul's eyes turned red and he roared hysterically. Fake. No one can create a vortex that connects to the immortal astral continent and summon a grand Empyrean. It's all fake. Don't try to deceive this old man. His expression was ferocious and the veins on his head were swollen. At this moment he forgot his fear and felt like his mind was going to collapse from this absurd concept. Fake, it's all fake. Aha, it must all be fake. Wang Lin, this old man knows the Celestial Emperor's bodyguard Luo Ming. He is a good friend of mine and I once saved his life. He is a confidant of the Celestial Emperor. Master Scarlet Soul laughed as if this was his last strand of hope. Oh? It's all fake, eh? Although I can't bring the Celestial Emperor's divine sense here, I can let you see his broken soul. Wang Lin waved his hand and the vortex in the sky suddenly disappeared. Dao Yi's aura also disappeared. In the Dao Yi sect, Dao Yi trembled. He clearly felt his own vulnerability and Wang Lin's strength. See if this is fake. Wang Lin was calm and as he spoke, 3 colors appeared behind him. Black, white, gold. The 3 colors of light suddenly gathered into a giant sun, and the aura of a grand Empyrean erupted from Wang Lin. All of it descended upon Master Scarlet Soul. At the same time, Celestial Emperor Lian Daojian's face appeared in the sun. Although his face was distorted from the pain, anyone who had met Lian Daojian would be able to recognize him. Fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. You're also a grand Empyrean? Aha, it's all fake. Don't try to deceive me. Master Scarlet Soul muttered. His eyes were out of focus. After Wang Lin released his Grand Empyrean pressure, his cultivation level continued to rise until it reached half a step into heaven trampling. His pressure was enough to collapse star system and destroy all life. All the pressure gathered around Master Scarlet Soul, and none leaked out. He began to laugh like a madman, and the moment he went crazy his body collapsed. When his body collapsed, Master Scarlet Soul went insane. He could not accept this reality. He didn't dare to believe he had hostile intentions towards someone who had refined the Celestial Emperor's soul, who even Dao Yi feared, and who was a Grand Empyrean himself. He had even talked out teasing a Grand Empyrean's lover, and had taken a Grand Empyrean's descendant as his disciple. He had even made the descendant of the Grand Empyrean rebel against the Grand Empyrean. Absurd. Absolutely ridiculous. He went crazy. His body collapsed and his origin soul died. However, compared to the madness in him, this pain was like the firefly in the moon. It was impossible to compare the two. This kind of death was countless times more cruel than directly destroying one's body and soul. Aside from his body, Wang Lin had ruthlessly destroyed his reasoning and mind. On the day after the battle, Wang Lin brought Mu Bingmei 13 Su Ligua and company and left. Before leaving, Wang Lin rebuilt the formation. This formation was even more powerful, and unless the celestial ancestor or ancient ancestor were reborn, no one could break it. Not even Gu Dao could break it. When he left, Wang Lin left a part of his Dao and spells in the celestial realm. He had also gathered power of the world and made a mountain of pills. He had left a powerful seed for the celestial realm. Perhaps the celestial realm would be filled with powerful people as time passed, maybe even people who inherited Wang Lin's Dao. A perfect protection formation, a large amount of pills and Dao scriptures, and even Wang Lin's understanding of the ethereal essences. This would make the celestial realm very strong, and make sure incidents like Master Scarlet Soul never happened again. Before leaving, Wang Lin and Dao Master Blue Dream talked for a long time. No one knew what they had talked about, and after Dao Master Blue Dream sent Wang Lin off, he went into closed-door cultivation. Wang Lin left. He traveled through the vast star system and arrived on planet Suzaku. He sat before his own statue for several days before he left. He then went to planet Tianyun, which had become a ruin during the Great War. There Wang Lin spread out his divine sense and found the entrance to the demon spirit land. In this familiar place that was Celestial Emperor Qing Lin's cave, He found the scroll he had once sealed there. He released the woman inside and allowed her to enter reincarnation. The mystery woman from back then was no longer important to Wang Lin. Wang Lin left the demon spirit land and went to a lot of places in the 4-star systems. As for some of the unresolved matters from the past, he didn't deliberately search for answers but dealt with them one by one. In the end, he left the inner realm and went to the outer realm. In the outer realm, the first place he went to was the Fallen Land. There, he saw the old vermilion bird, who had helped him before. He also saw a lot of old friends. A few days later, Wang Lin released the seal on the Fallen Land to allow the people there to leave at will. Wang Lin took away the most important item of the Fallen Land, a pointer on a compass. His footprints appeared all over the outer realm. He saw esteemed scattered soul, this friend who he admired greatly in the past. Similarly, Wang Lin saw a baby on a cultivation planet in the outer realm. The baby's body was in the core of the planet and seemed to be sleeping. The baby looked like Tua's senator, although Wang Lin didn't know what had happened. Tua's son seemed to be 2C, and he was cultivating some kind of spell. This spell required him to revert his body back into a baby and grow once more. Wang Lin watched the baby until he left several days later. He left a divine sense for Tua-san, and when the baby awakened he would feel this divine sense. For Wang Lin, the cave world no longer had any mysteries. If there was anything, it would be the mysterious All-Seer and 7-colored Taoist. However, all traces of those two had disappeared from the cave world. Wang Lin went to a lot of places and then, 1 year later, returned to planet Suzaku, his hometown. There was one final secret waiting to be revealed. Back then, he didn't have the power to find it, and before he left the cave world, he was filled with confusion about the future, so he had no time to pay attention to it. However, now that he was on planet Suzaku, Wang Lin went to the Sea of Devils, to the entrance of the land of the ancient god. Although the land of the ancient god had collapsed due to Tua-san leaving, there was still an ancient space within. Wang Lin stepped inside and found the Ji Qiong. This beast had devoured Wang Lin's divine sense and grown a head that looked exactly like Wang Lin. However, when Wang Lin found it, the beast had been dead for an unknown amount of years and only a skeleton remained. Wang Lin stood next to the skeleton for a long time, and his gaze was locked onto one of the skulls. It was a human skull, but it was not normal-sized. Instead, it was the size of a fist. Wang Lin looked at it in confusion. He had a skull that was exactly the same in his storage space. He took out the skull, and when the two skulls were placed next to each other, one of them turned into a speck of dark light before disappearing. Wang Lin recognized that the one that disappeared was the one he had gotten from Dao Yi. Wang Lin vaguely gained some enlightenment, but it was only a flash and he could not clearly grasp it. He stroked the skull and muttered to himself, "If there really is reincarnation, then when the past and the present meet, the past will dissipate and no longer exist. Only the present will remain." After putting away the skull, Wang Lin relaxed greatly. When he vaguely began to doubt himself, he felt fear from his heart toward this skull. He did not fear it, but the origin of this thing. He hesitated. If there really was reincarnation, did this belong to Wang Ping? Now he had found the answer. Wang Lin put away the skull and walked out of the space the land of the ancient god was in. The ancient Tao imperial teacher that looked like the All-Seer said that I had found the skull and the white hair. Now the skull has changed. Does this mean that one day the white hair will encounter a similar fate? Wang Lin left while silently pondering. Time flowed by. In a flash, 10 years passed. Su Ligua's seal had long been released. After he regained his freedom, he could not hold in the pride he felt after returning home. He and Lu Jinbiao had left 10 years ago, and the two of them had gone off somewhere. The sea dragon was accompanying them, and would make sure no one in the cave world could harm them. Only they could bully others, and there was no chance of others bullying them. Before Lu Jinbiao left, he told Su Ligua in a serious expression that he wanted to pursue the ultimate form of deception. He felt like his cooperation with Su Ligua was good, but perhaps another person would make it more perfect. Su Ligua also agreed. After they discussed it, they set their sights on Zhong Big Red and felt nostalgic. They decided that the first stop was to find Zhong Big Red. 13 was the same as always and remained on planet Suzaku. He decided to stay here to protect his teacher until his teacher awakened. His cultivation level had risen in the last 10 years. Most importantly, He had inherited Wang Lin's Tao and almost all of Wang Lin's spells. Aside from the ethereal essences, which he still hadn't gained much comprehension in, 13 had already formed the 5 elemental essences. In particular, 13 seemed to have an amazing talent for the 8 extreme Tao, so his comprehension was profound. 13 wasn't the only one that guarded Wang Lin. There was also the Mosquito King. It was very powerful and was like a king in this place. Every time it moved, it would attract the attention of all the cultivators on the planet. There were cultivators that wanted to catch it, but once they suffered and learned of the gap between them and this mosquito beast, they all avoided it and no longer dared to provoke it. The mosquito beast would not hurt anyone, and would sometimes leave the planet to play. The people on the planet gradually grew accustomed to its existence. As for Wang Lin and Mu Bingmei, they had both walked into a cave in the mountain 10 years ago. Wang Lin had used his dream Tao to bring him and Mu Bingmei to resolve the matter and inner demon that was Lu Mei. Perhaps once the issue with Lu Mei was resolved, the relationship between Wang Lin and Mu Bingmei would be different. Time passed. In a flash, another 10 years went by. The cultivators on planet Suzaku didn't know that the legendary Wang Lin had long returned to his hometown. They only knew that 20 years ago, an indifferent cultivator had turned a mountain into a forbidden land. No one was allowed to take half a step inside. The first time someone did it, there would be warning, but the second time would result in death.